Oh yeah, I gotta shut the door. Shut up. So you don't bother Grace with our shenanigans. Yeah, I gotta shut the door. Alright, audio sounds fine. Hey everybody. Couple announcements. Yes, we're in the louder chair that goes squish squish when you sit on it. But you know what? I wanted to. Got back from surgical consult. They said we probably don't need surgery. We'll be fine for the wedding. So that's good. And for anyone who's like, what the fuck are you talking about? If you're on my Discord, you would know all this already. So maybe you figure that out. Get on that Discord. Get all the nice updates. For today, we have our weekly new player tournament. It is in the European time zone, as I'm saving up a whole bunch of replays right now. Don't know how long today's stream will be. Probably shorter, as the wedding is in 2 days. And I feel like shit. So we'll keep it shorter. Right. What up, dudes? What up? And now, on a very related note, I have some complaints. Oh yeah, I need to tell the Discord that the stream has started. 1 second. I have some complaints. Has anybody out there played Outer Wilds? Yes? No? Yes? No? Outer Wilds? Outer Wilds fans? I'm not starting this. I'm not actually going to start casting replays until somebody's played Outer Wilds. So, even if you have to lie and just say you've played Outer Wilds, just get it moving, that would be appreciated. But that's fine. I'll just wait here. No, it's okay. I don't have anything better to be doing. It's fine. Did I post that? Oh, I'm distracted. What happened? I love Outer Wilds. I know of it. Alright, Harabek. You and I are about to not be friends. No, I'm joking. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. It's very fun. It's very, very fun. So here's where I'm at, Harabek. And try not to have spoilers. Just appreciate what I'm telling you, but don't tell me how to do it correctly, right? So, essentially, the concept of Outer Wilds is you need to go into space and explore things in space, and it's very open-ended, and there's like, let's say there's 8 things you have to do, and it doesn't tell you what order to do them. And for one of the things I have to do is, you need to find this crashed ship. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then a guy points and he's like, it's in that bush. And I go, great. So I go into the bush, and there's a bunch of giant anglerfish. You know, those things with the little light bulb on their tentacle and the giant fucking teeth. There's a whole bunch of those in there, and you have to dodge and juke around them like Han Solo going past a fucking Star Destroyer, shooting at him and stuff. It's awful. It's terrible. It's high stress. And I eventually get to the fucking vessel. I get inside, and there's a puzzle, and the puzzle has no instructions on what to do with it. It's just like, here's a blank sheet of paper, and I go, what's this? And I draw a line on it, and it's like, wrong! Oh, I draw a spiral. Wrong! Oh, okay, fuck. I don't know what this is. I look around the room, no clues. Great. I go to Reddit, and I say, hey, did I find a bug? Because this is a video game in 2024. There's sometimes bugs, right? So I'm like, is this bugged? What do I do? Oh, the hint is not in that room. It's on this other planet. Fuck! Okay. Get out of the ship. Drive past all the anglerfish. They're all trying to eat me. Lots of screaming. Lots of terror. Get outside of the mass of thorns. Go to that planet. Find that hint. Then come back. Put the hint back in the order after getting past all the anglerfish again. I'm like, alright. The hint's there. Cool. Nothing happens. Again, I hate looking for spoilers, but I have literally no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. So look it up. Why isn't this working? Oh, you need this part. Okay, I remember that part from earlier in the story, so I'm not going to look up how to get that part. Go on a long adventure to get that part. Come back. What? Okay, my computer gave me a notification. Come back. I have the part. Put the part in the spot. All right. Resolve the puzzle with the part in the spot. Nothing happens. Why isn't anything happening? And there's no indication. It's not like, here's why nothing's happening. It's just like, nothing's happening. Okay. Look up on Reddit. Why isn't anything happening? Oh, you haven't done this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, so this is like the last thing I should be doing. Got it. Understood. And I feel like the game was trying to tell me that this was the last thing I should be doing by putting like a million giant fucking monsters between me and it. And I just, every time I go back to the ship, I'm weaving between all these monsters. The game's like, hey, stop coming here. Anyway, I thought you would appreciate that. So let's get on with it, huh? If you haven't been here for any of our weekly tournaments, we have a weekly new player tournament. We switch back and forth between European and NA-friendly time zones. It is Swiss for the first 4 rounds, so everybody gets 4 guaranteed games. At the end of that, if there's any ties for who is in first, we deal with the tiebreakers, and a winner is declared. We celebrate them, we give them many claps, and it is great. Game 1 here is between Halvor and Rogue Consultant. The tournament started an hour ago, and I tend to cast the replays. It's just nice, so we can kind of go at our own pace and move along without waiting in lobbies or lag or anything like that. I will try and cast everyone's game at least once. And then after I get everybody at least once, we'll start picking anything that we think looks interesting. And then call it a day. Sound good? Sounds good. No, Harbeck, it's going fine, and I am enjoying it. It's just, like, it can both be fine and funny. You know what I mean? Where it's like, ha, this is funny. I don't actually think it's a bad game. But I just kept going back to the Dark Bramble, like, now I have everything I need. And the anglerfish were like, how many times do we have to tell you to stop coming here? Because, for your reference, so if you've beaten the game, and if you kind of remember what I'm talking about, I'm exploring the Dark Bramble. I have never been to the Ash Twins at all. So, like, I haven't explored one of the main planets literally at all. I've never landed on them once, and I'm trying to do this thing. And I'm like, I'm starting to figure out that this is a late game thing. And I shouldn't be here. Anyway. For our first game, we get Wood Elves, High Elves. Wood Elves, a frequent flyer of the new player tournaments. It seems like new player tournaments are just a certain amount of I don't give a fuck where people still play Wood Elves just because they like them, even though they're generally not considered very good. For the Wood Elves, we have a whole bunch of Glade Guards, some with Starfire Shafts, some regular. Eternal Guard front line, we do have some War Dancer, Azrai Spears on the sides, a Way Stalker, 2 Glade Riders, a Hagmaiden Tips, Greitja with Melkoths and her summon. And that is it. Hang on. This looks very similar to a build I talked about on stream. Alright, let's see how it goes. On the other side, for the High Elves, we have an Archmage of High Magic on a Moon Dragon with Tempest and Apotheosis, a front line of Spearmen, the Storm Riders, all then Seaguard Arawar, Talons of Torquelada with regular archers backing them up, and then some Silver Helms and Fireborn. 3 Dragon Princes total. Okay. For the High Elves, they're going to have to get a lot more aggressive with their cavalry because they have a huge mobility advantage. The Wood Elves have more and better archers. The Wood Elves have more and a better front line, but their cavalry is woefully inadequate compared to your 3 Dragon Princes and a Silver Helm. So the Silver Helms and Dragon Princes have to get into the back line and just start messing up archers all day long. As long as the frontline fight is happening, the Wood Elves will be winning it. Drycha's summon plus the constant hail of arrows coming in from the Wood Elves is making it rather difficult. And the Fireborn are trying to get a side charge down here and stop the bleeding and keep the Talons of Torquelade and stuff online for a bit. Looks like some of the other cav is going to be activated in the back line. I don't dislike the red team's build. I think it's fine. I do think that their micro is slipping a bit. With the new player tournament, that'll happen. I'm not, like, shocked. But their cavalry took a little bit too long to activate, and it now needs to get a lot done while operating from behind, because all of these guys are just completely screwed. And you can see the value of this type of build if you weren't here for when I was talking about why this build is good on stream. The Fireborn just get deleted, and that's really the whole point of this Wood Elf build, is you just take priority assets, delete them one at a time until nothing is left. And you can sacrifice archers. Now, one thing I don't like about the Wood Elf formation just currently is a lot of the Glade Guard are ending up too close together, where if any of those heavy cavalry do get into the back line, they're going to disrupt 2 or 3 archers at the same time. Whereas if you're more spread out, they can only stop 1 at a time, and whatever one they're not stopping will be shooting them, right? But overall, it is going quite well for the Wood Elves. They've deleted most of the High Elf infantry and archers. They've done a lot of damage to the High Mage, and now forcing her to use her spells to save herself rather than save her Heavy Cav. And her Heavy Cav are trying to get back here, but the focus fire is not something even they can ignore. With shields and armor and stuff, that's pretty cool, but Wood Elves have armor-piercing missiles with pretty high weapon strength. Archers now trying to turn and fire, and we're going to see here, it should disrupt 2 of these Glade Guard. Almost 3. But now the other Wood Elf archers are going to be able to clear that out. Balance power is tipping against the High Elves even further. And Drych is just holding back some Dragon Princes with Melkoths over and over again while the Waystalker pokes at the Lord. Mr. Casual, I'm not a Cathay main. How dare you? Bastion, happy to have you. If you are playing in our new player tournaments and I just don't know of it yet, hope you're having a good time. If you aren't playing in them, they're always around for you whenever you feel like starting. And this is looking like a Wood Elf W wrapped up. The sheer firepower of 8 Glade Guard is pretty brutal to deal with, especially if those cavalry don't get on them right away. But you could see in that game with Halver and Rogue Consultant, you could kind of see what the whole point was. Here, where I do want to go back for just a second because this was a type of build I talked about, and like there we got a good demonstration of how it's supposed to work. I'm going to play it at times 3 speed until I get to the part I wanted to talk to you about. Come on, load up. You just loaded this game. You shouldn't have to work too hard on loading it again. If anybody cares, if you don't want to watch new player content today, that's fine. I know some people just like top level tournament play. Tactical Lich, another wonderful channel in our community, is hosting a single faction war type tournament right now. Like literally right now on his channel. So feel free to go check that out. We always love when Tactical Lich gets some of the support he deserves. Okay. Let's look at the Fireborn. This, now, you're going to have to use your imagination just a little bit, because this isn't an archer. But this is how this build is supposed to work. So imagine you have Glade Guards spread out everywhere, and then pretend this is a Glade Guard, right? Because you want them all spread out. As the Fireborn go to try to shut down this quote-unquote Glade Guard, look at the volume of fire on these guys. 110 armor, physical resistance, bronze shield, fire resistance, all that stuff. I guess they do magic damage, so the physical resist isn't going to help. But they still get melted just by the sheer volume of fire of stuff they're dealing with over here. They're already down to half HP as these Wood Elf archers try and fire. Where's their next volley? Melkoth's also doing good work. I can't see the arrows too well. It looks like they're maybe obstructing each other a little bit, but it's more of what I was trying to say is just like focusing fire can do so much work, even against something that's supposedly resistant to your missiles. Like these two are going to be firing these Dragon Princes. Their shields are turned the other way. So if you deploy a build like this and you just get really spread out, your archers can kind of defend themselves, because only one of them can get attacked by a cav at a time, and then they can just focus fire shit down. And that works pretty well. I think the Silver Helm also ends up getting deleted when the archers turn around. Yeah, Dragon Princess lost half their HP on the advance there. And like, for more proof of concept, if for some reason you don't just believe me, like Anticity used to run, when he was playing a lot, he used to run Vampire Coast builds that were just a whole bunch of guns spread out in the backline. They defended each other. You kind of just checkerboard of death. That's largely where the concept comes from. So, it can work. You got to be spread out, though. They also ran through AP Spears, yeah. Alright, next up, Hayseed versus Corvus Glaive. Two very fun newer players to watch. Corvus is more of a long-term legend in the new player events. Hayseed popped up more recently, but his first debut on our stream, he did have some Kolek shenanigans, so we appreciated it. We love Hayseed around here. Corvus Glaive, always running this type of build. He varies it a little bit, but it's always got this cultist with his demonette summon. We appreciate it. And sometimes he takes out these dwarf builds that are like heavy on hammerers and Thorgrim Grudgebearer, so. What's up, gamers? Hey, Muffin Master. Alrighty. For game 2 here with Corvus Glaive and Hayseed. For Hayseed, we have some Skull Crushers of Khorne, including the Knights of the Brazen Throne, a front line of Marauders and Chaos Warriors. Some of the Marauders... Never mind. Those are Chosen with Great Weapons. I thought that was just Marauders with Great Weapons. Chosen of Nurgle with Great Weapons, and then a Chaos Warrior with Halberd. Just in case of some Chosen of Khorne, I guess? I'm not really sure what these Chosen of Nurgle are anticipating running into that they'll need those Great Weapons for. Maybe just to cleave through Chaos Warriors of Khorne, I guess, but I don't know. Seems ambitious. Kolek Sun Eater, and then a Shadows Caster with Pit of Shades and Occam's Mind Razor. Whoa. Okay. I'm down. On the other side for Khorne, we have Chaos Warriors of Khorne across the front line, mixed in with some Marauders with dual weapons. We do have a bunch of Minotaurs as well. One Halberd, a Valkia, and a Cultist. 2 Skirmish Cav off in the distance. Why does it feel like Khorne has 2,000 less gold than the Warriors of Chaos? I don't know. They just feel like they got outclassed everywhere a little bit. Marauders of Khorne losing heavily to Chosen of Nurgle, which, like, you know, if Marauders beat Chosen of Nurgle, that would be a problem, so I guess we can support that. Minos, unfortunately, taking an unsupported fight against Skull Crushers. And that is going to be a problem for them. They get deleted very quickly and pushed off the map. They got half HP off of another Skull Crusher, which is honestly better than I would have expected considering the bad situation they ended up in, but still a big loss for Khorne on that side. Nice job punishing where the Skull Crushers aren't. Like, I don't think that Minotaur thing was a mistake. Sure, 100%. But good punish over here. Really capitalizing on none of the mass and none of the anti-large being around from Kolek's side to deal with you. And what happened to these Chosen of Nurgle? They got messed up, actually. Hold on. Do you guys have crazy value? No, you have fine value. Must have been Valkia. Spear Slaupnir or something. Anyway, Cultist Khorne chasing off some Marauders. His Bloodletter summon, if it came up behind these Chaos Warriors, would actually do a lot of damage, as a Pit of Shades catches some of the Halberds while they chase off the Skull Crushers. And the 2 Skirmish Cav continuing to poke in here. Looks like the Skull Crushers have taken a good amount of damage from those Skirmish Cav. Balance powers against the Warriors of Chaos, because while they got a very good fight on that flank up there, overall the front line has been going to Khorne. Overall, right? Like, the Chosen Nurgle are winning. Technically, they're on their second opponent now. And these Halberds are doing okay, but it's not great for their cost. I'm waiting for the Bloodletter summon. That could come out and actually do some really good work back here, but the Skull Crushers, Knights of the Brazen Throne or otherwise, are coming downhill. Huge charge in the distance onto those Marauders of Khorne, taking them out instantaneously. Valkia is winning a bit of a fight here against the Sorcerer of Shadows as Kolek abandoned ship, leaving him to his fate. For some reason, doesn't like this guy. And Valky's just going to go back to fighting Chosen of Nurgle. With a Horn of Khorne buff on some Chaos Warriors, they are actually getting through the Chosen of Nurgle okay. Minotaurs with great weapons. Gonna have to be careful they don't share the fate of their brethren getting caught out all alone. Cultist might want to use his Bloodletter summon soon. He's completely surrounded by enemies, and his only Chaos Warrior friends are leaving now. So Bloodletter summon could just fight to the death against everything in all directions, and then that would be a good use of that summon. The worst case scenario is if it gets summoned, everybody just runs away from it, but these Chaos Warriors and Halberds are actually too slow to run away, so the Bloodletters can get a guaranteed target on them and support the Cultists, so it's a really good time for a summon to come out, and it looks like he does use it appropriately. Chosen of Nurgle continue to get cleaned up, but unfortunately I think these Minos might be in for a shellacking, as Kolek and his Skull Crushers have noticed them. They're starting to come back now. They want to find some sort of support, but those Chaos Warriors are too far away, these ones are too far away, and they are going to be caught all alone again. Valkia and her Chaos Warriors trying to catch some of the Skull Crushers that are moving in to intercept, but if they just get constant orders onto the Minotaurs, they should be able to get a nice, uninterrupted charge. And honestly, the Minotaurs will die so fast that the Chaos Warriors won't even get here in time. Occam's Mind Razor even cast on the Skull Crushers, just to give them a little bit more oomph. And that is plenty of oomph, man. Look at these Minos. Look at them go. Getting straight up massacred. Balance power still relatively even-ish. Khorne has had a slight lead since the early game, but it hasn't gotten any worse. And the Bloodletters just faded away from the summon. Minotaur's about to leave, but so are the Skull Crushers. So a bit of a trade there as Valkia and her Chaos Warriors continue to get good damage out. Kolek is very healthy. So is his Shadows Caster. Khorne has more infantry left. We do have the Knights of the Brazen Throne Skull Crushers for the Warriors of Chaos. It looks like... Wow! Kolek did a lot of damage. to Valky all of a sudden. 830 weapon strength, not messing around, as he must have hit her 2 or 3 times while we weren't looking. But Kolek actually paying for himself for like the first time in a long time. Valky is all of a sudden on the ropes. Anyway, what I was saying is, Knights of the Brazen Throne and Kolek are high value pieces that are going to have to get a lot of value out, while Khorne just has a whole bunch of infantry left over. So it's the front line versus the main line. A Pit of Shades trying to catch the guys fleeing Kolek's lightning burst, and a bit of magic whittling down Khorne here and there, as these Marauder Horsemen throwing axes. No ammo left to them, get caught by the Knights of the Brazen Throne and Kolek, and immediately deleted. I've been playing some campaign games and wanted to play proper multiplayer, not the blob versus blob. Found your channel when I asked if ranked is good for this. Stellar Ape, kinda? Kinda. So here's the thing. Ranked matchmaking can be a bit of a crapshoot. Sometimes you can have great games on there, and I do know people that have told me I am way too harsh on ranked matchmaking. But personally, I don't often have fun in ranked matchmaking. We do have a Discord where this is being played, right? So we have new player tournaments every week for only new players, and then we have new player resources and people you can talk to and just like say, hey, I'm looking for some games. Or we have our own Discord bot that just matches people, similar to the ranked matchmaking. But you'll be playing with house rules for our Discord. And house rules, some people complain, it's like, oh, rules suck. Yeah, like, that's fair if that's your opinion, but I personally would have some, like, handshake agreement rules rather than deal with bullshit. So it's like, the Thunder Barge is banned on our server, right? Like, the land ship is banned on our server. You can only have 1 steam tank. You can't have 2, right? So it's things like that. And if you don't want to follow some rules, that's fine. Ranked matchmaking is there. Like, we're not taking it away from you. It's just kind of it's a more curated experience for people that are like, I don't want to deal with X, Y, and Z. I'll go play with some people who feel the same, right? So feel free to join us. It's totally free and fine. You can check out our Discord. It's in the description of this video. That is going to be a huge old Pit of Shades. And yeah, if you try it out and you don't think it's a good fit, just leave. Like, didn't cost you anything. We won't be butthurt. So feel free to check us out if you want to try out some multiplayer. And if you don't, stick to campaign, that's fine. Campaign's super fun. That's how I started out. Valkia is trying to clear out the Knights of the Brazen Throne. Kolek pops all of his buffs in. It looks like he's coming over here. 1 shot and she'll rout, 2 shots and she'll die. And she is having issues keeping anybody near her as her Chaos Warriors are all terror routing away as she needs them most. Valkia is trying to path away, and Kolek is trying to get through his own troops to get to her and land that killing shot. There's 1 shot. She's gonna rout. 2nd shot. She almost died. His first shot did more splash damage than real damage, though, so my calculation was off, and she did survive the 2nd shot. But the 3rd will put her in the ground and end this game. How's that? How are we not at army losses, is my concern. This game could be cancer, says Jay. That is a ringing endorsement of our game, my friend. Hayseed with the Kolek win, and Kolek earned it. You know, this wasn't some bullshit like he took Kolek, but Kolek wasn't the reason he won. Kolek got some good engagements, got a lot of value, did very well. His chosen Nurgle, his caster also did fine. The rest of the Warriors of Chaos frontline got completely punked by Khorne, but the Skull Crushers, betraying their original god, since they are Khorne units, the Skull Crushers, Kolek, his caster, were more than enough to carry for Corvus. I feel like he got some good engagements. Both of his Minotaurs really struggled. There was one that got a lot of value fighting some stuff off on the side, but then it also got caught out completely in the middle of nowhere. He did need to leverage his superiority of infantry. Like, we saw how hard Khorne smashed the front line, but then the rest of his forces didn't take advantage of that front line for the rest of the game, and that was a big problem. And they got caught with some Pit of Shades and stuff, so it's pretty brutal, but it's the way it goes, right? You know, it is a new player tournament, so I try to offer criticism and feedback, but before I get too far in and they're like, wow, this guy's just roasting these people, on the last stream where not the last stream that happened, but the last stream where I was playing myself. I lost an entire game because on stream I forgot about my Soul Grinder Zine, just straight up forgot it. And I believe it was Torreson got to run up to it with Imric on horseback, and he just like deleted it before I even tried to move it. And then Demonic Instability took it out, and I lost the whole game off that mistake. So it's like, mistakes happen. I'm only pointing them out so that people can get better if they want to. You know, it's not really it's not meant to be like a big deal. All right, we have already cast Hayseed once, but we haven't cast Narian yet, so we will do another Hayseed replay, but I'm casting it because I want to catch a Narian. We will cast everybody at least once, and then just cast whatever looks interesting after that point. As far as the tournament goes, out of the 4 Swiss rounds, most of our people are on the final round. A couple people still lingering in the 3rd round. The tournament did start an hour before the stream as I had lunch. Benjamin, I know you said never mind, but how long should you wait for your opponent to respond? Normally about 15 minutes. Yeah. A little lunch, new player stream. All right, chat's popping off. I got to pause for a second because this game got off to a very quick start. And sorry, I'm a little slower today. I know I am. I'm trying to get the energy up, but I just got back from a surgery consult, so I'm a little foggy and distracted. We're doing fine. We got good news. I don't want to go into medical stuff too much, but for people who have been involved in my Discord know we're going through some things. The end result of surgery consult was it'll heal on its own. I don't need surgery, which is good because if I needed surgery, being married in 2 days would have been awkward if I was in a wheelchair on drugs and shit. All right. New stream title, Veteran Skaven Player Abuses Poor New Players. Dialatron, that's true. And if you're the Dialatron I'm thinking of, it has been a long time, and I'm glad to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Scorn OP for sure. Yeah, Golden Floof. Golden Floof killing it. Love Khorne, but let's say theoretically if they come S tier. By his nature, the faction have to be gay or broken. Yeah. Alright. So, into this next game, we do have Hayseed again, this time on Khorne instead of the Warriors of Chaos. He's bringing Scarbrand, a bunch of Chaos Warhounds, and then some Minotaurs, and then Marauders and Exalted Bloodletters. Pretty standard stuff. Khorne's dogs and his Minotaurs are both very, very good units. And then his front line is just kind of, it keeps getting buffs, and it's around, but never great. On the other side, for Anarian and his High Elves, we have Teclis with all of his spells. All of them. And then some Illyrian Reavers, Scarbrand rampages in other Illyrian Reavers, and he's going to get them killed in a good way. Archers, Rangers, Spearmen, more Illyrian Reavers, Teclis. Got it. Pretty straightforward build. His Minotaurs are going to catch these rampaging guys. If you want thoughts on your builds, cool. If you don't, ignore me, but you should never really take Teclis with all of his abilities. He's just not going to get enough use out of every single one of them. Actually, I think he took 4 out of his 6 spells, but it's still probably limit that down to 3. With Net, Regrowth, Flock of Doom, and Flame, you could probably cut the Flaming Sword. Flock of Doom's the cheap one, Regrowth is your get-out-of-jail-free card, and Net sets up big plays. The Fire Sword just doesn't really fit in there. You won't have the Winds of Magic to be able to cast all 4 spells, like, effectively, right? Would you rather cast Flock of Doom 3 times, or, like, Flaming Sword once, Flock of Doom once, Net once? So, I don't know. Net and Regrowth are a little more situational, so I can see why those, but Flaming Sword and Flock are kind of overlapping on the generic low-cost spell that you could cut them. Scarbrand is in, fighting some people, though in comes that Net, why he wanted to bring it, just in case of a situation like this. Now we have a bunch of archers pouring fire into Scarbrand, which he hates. He has a bit of physical resistance. He does have decent armor, but he's unshielded, no missile resistance, so not going to enjoy all of those teeny tiny little pokes. The front lines are here, and Khorne's front line is far superior to the High Elves, as even their elite Spearmen with 50 melee defense cannot stand up to these Exalted Bloodletters. They are getting massacred super quickly, and that puts these archers on a bit of a timer before their time is up. Illyrian Reavers, running away from the dogs, don't want to fight these guys, though on the charge they will do decent damage. Might just want to take the fight in the end. I can understand you not wanting to fight one of the best dog units in the game, especially with Minotaurs and Scarbrand so nearby. But he does eventually take the fight, and good use of Teclis to hop in here and provide that terror. Chaos Warhounds are still just dog units. Very easy to terror out and get off your back. though Teclis is going to have to be careful as the Minotaurs are charging in. He needs to be less careful than most things. On his Phoenix mount, he's pretty tanky, and he has regrowth in case he gets damaged. He has net in case he needs to leave, so he's pretty safe, but still don't really want to sacrifice anyone to Minotaurs. It looks like Anarian is on top of that, falling back very effectively. Good job there. Now some of his archers are in a bit of trouble as Khorne's superior frontline got through the spearmen, and now Elves have entered the slaughterhouse. Skarbrand and his boys chasing down some of the Illyrian Reavers, looking to pop his rampage once again, netting these guys into himself. And it looks like that might be coming up soon. As the High Elves, without much cavalry presence, like they have a whole bunch of Illyrian Reavers, but Illyrian Reavers can't stop Minotaurs. They need like Fireborn or something. Like we saw the Skull Crushers last game just delete these guys. The High Elves don't have a unit that hits that hard, and the closest they have is Dragon Princes, and those aren't in this battlefield, so the Minotaurs and Skarbrand are going to be a bit of a problem. And they also have an inferior front line, and this is largely Teclis's fault, and it's the reason you don't see Teclis much, is this dude is so expensive. He handicaps the rest of your army really, really hard. And that's just tough. That's a tough price to reason with. Teclis costs more than Skarbrand. For sure. Heralds of the Wind trying to get a good charge in, trying to get something done, but they just get massacred. And these spearmen are waddling after the Minotaurs trying to get a good fight, but mostly Khorne has just ignored them. Skarbrand is going to get a downhill charge on these guys. Doesn't have attack orders, though, so he is actually just going to walk into them. That looked a bit silly, but it looks like he clicked just in front of them. And in comes the Rampage. Does he have a Sword of Khorne? He has a Sword of Khorne! Rampage, Sword of Khorne! Rampage, Sword of Khorne! I love this! I love this combo. It's my favorite combo. Instantly deletes 2 Spearman units. It's the best use of Skarbrand there ever was, and it's great, and I love it. No complaints. Teclis is doing his best to run around the battlefield and support some things, but Khorne's frontline has 1, their mobility has 1, and really that just leaves no area of the battlefield where Teclis is getting too much accomplished. The Marauders of Khorne get hit with a nice Fiery Convocation, does a little bit of damage, and the Fiery Convocation is bound to Teclis. It's not actually a spell, so he's not using Winds of Magic for it or anything. But yeah, the High Elves didn't have enough oomph in their build. It was very defensive. Like, the Illyrian Reavers are pretty good at taking care of themselves. Teclis is pretty good at taking care of himself. And then we had some Spearman frontline and stuff, but there wasn't really anything that was actually going to, like, kill everything and win the game. Did I miss any good games? This is a good one. Actually, last game with Kolek was pretty good, too. I'm trying to remember what the first game of the day was. High Elves, Wood Elves. That one was okay. It was a bit one-sided. It showed off a concept I wanted to talk about, but, like, if you're looking for, like, nail-biting close game, yeah, the half would have won wasn't that close. Skarbrand netted again, getting shot by some tattered archers, but this is the last breath of a dying army. There's not too much they can do here. Teclis is holding up the balance of power from being army losses because he's like 3,000 plus gold on his mount with this kit. So the game thinks that he's a quarter of their army and he's still alive, so they're doing good, but it's like, he's very defensive, if that makes sense. So it's not like he's going to carry everything. He's just impossible to kill. As Skarbrand pops his Wrathful Reaper, is just going to try and fight his way out of the situation, while the front line, the dogs, the Minotaurs are all closing in from all sides. The High Elves have nowhere to go. The white line is between them and safety. And it's all just Ogre. So that's new players, huh? There's a mix, yeah. I mean, again, I'm not trying to shit at anybody, just pointing out. If you saw the first game of the day, like, the High Elves, most of their cavalry didn't move for, like, the first 45 seconds. So, yeah, there's a bit of a range on new players. Some people come in pretty ready to go. Some people come in learning everything. But you get a lot better very quickly. I think the hardest part of getting into Warhammer multiplayer isn't being a new player. I think it's being a mid-tier player. I think you, like, this is being real for a second. My hardest part is when I was playing in Turin tournaments, and I was new, brand new. I got really good in the first month compared to where I was, right, comparatively. And then I, like, plateaued really hard. And I was like, okay, I'm not new. I know most of what my units should be doing. I know most of what a good army should be. But I just keep losing. And I'm like, I don't know what to improve. There's all the obvious shit is gone. All the shit like, hey, you forgot Kugath Plaguefather in the back of the map. You never placed him. Oh, yeah, I'll fix that. You fix that. I forgot Minotaurs in infantry, and they got countercharged by enemy trolls or whatever, and now they're fighting on top of spears and trolls. Oh, fuck, don't do that, right? When you fix all the easy stuff, and you get out of being a new player, that's where it was so hard to get better, because, like, the advice I needed wasn't obvious anymore. It wasn't something I could just look at my game and go, oh, yeah, I fucked that up. It's like, I feel like I did everything right, and I just keep fucking losing. And it's like, to get from being, like, a medium-tier player to a good player, that's the hardest bump, because it's all subtle shit. It's all, like, tactics and strategy and build optimization and things like that. That takes a lot of time. And for that, joining a clan is good. I know several clans are accepting right now, but I'm a part of NC currently. They're a pretty good bunch of guys. I know Strat Game is always putting in a ton of work and time to try and help players get better. ODM's usually recruiting. RTK, I know they're recruiting. They're kind of a half Dom, half Land Battles crew, but they're a good crew. So yeah, if you are in that range, just a shout out for my non-new players. If you're like, man, I won a new player tournament a while ago, but I still get my shit kicked in all over the place, join a clan. It's just it's a good group of buddies that'll play games with you, and you guys can share strategies and stuff. It's a good time. I joined RTK. When I was in that slump I was talking about, I joined RTK, and they helped me get from being a mid-tier player to being, like, good. You know, good. I'm not, like, the best player in the community, but I got out of that funk, and now I'm doing pretty good. Left a couple years ago. Joined NC recently. So, yeah. Clans are a good way to do it. Next up, we have Rogue Consultant and Contrarian's Codex. And then this is the same game from the other perspective, so I can delete this. Anarian and Johnny Cash. I don't know if we've cast any Cash today. Tap Hat and Attack Speed Enjoyer are both different. Cash and Attack Speed Enjoyer are both different. Corvus Glaive. I don't think I've seen Titus yet today either. Alright. I don't want to miss out on Contrarian's Codex. Do we have another replay of him somewhere? Not yet. Okay. We've already cast Rogue Consultant. And I don't know how I feel about Yembo and Double Blimp. So I'll come back to that one. For now, let's get this one. Sure. Tapat and Attack Speed Enjoyer. Oh, hey, Contrarian just sent me another one. Nice. I don't know if I feel like casting a Cathay Blob right now. It's not my favorite media to engage in. Tapat versus Attack Speed Enjoyer popping up. Lucinia is refusing. He's his own clan. That build looks hella illegal. Which one? Oh, he has 5 single entities. Yeah, good point. Yeah, so just a heads up. In new player tournaments, we are very casual about the rules, right? Like, we'll be like, oh, hey, this is a rule break, just so you know. But he has 5 single entities. Our limit is 4. So technically, he'd have to cut one of the Demon Smith Sorcerers. But anyway, moving on. We do have 2 Iron Demons for the Demons of Chaos. Sorry, the Demons of Chaos, yes. Iron Demons for the Chaos Dwarves. 2 Bull Centaur Renders Grey Opens. A Smith Sorcerer of Hashit with Flames of Asgore is his only natural spell? No, Ash. Ooh, he has a couple. Curse of Hashit and then Ash Storm as well. A couple Blunderbusses. And that is it. What the hell is going on? Okay, there's too much. This is wild already. But what are these Demon Smith Sorcerers for? Are they just heal bots? Oh, he took just Reforge on both of them. Oh, for his Iron Demons. Okay, so each of the Demon Smith Sorcerers is trying to support an Iron Demon. And then you have a caster. But what's the caster's point? His Lamasu gives him some bound spells, but I guess just Flames of Asgore to punish a blob? This is wildin'. I don't know how I feel about this. It was a crazy Chaos Dwarfs build. On the other side, we have Knights of the Realm, Mounted Yeomen, Royal Hippogriff Knights, a whole bunch of Peasant Mobs, a Life Caster with Fleshstone and Regrowth, and then some Grail Knights, more Knights of the Realm, more Knights of the Realm, And a mounted yeoman that already got deleted. Okay, chaos over, let's go. Lewin is currently sitting smack dab in the middle of nonsense. Now, Flesh to Stone gives him 60% physical resistance, and he already has ward save, and he had his own missile resistance, so he was taking no damage from those blunderbusses, as the Flames of Asgore is going to delete a peasant mob. But why a peasant mob? They don't matter anyway. Holy shit. Okay. So much happening. Lewin gets a scroll of shielding to keep trying to keep him safe from these blunderbusses as he continues to chase down the Source of Prophet of Ashen, who's just like not at all prepared for this kind of engagement. As he's like, checkmate, I have you on top of my blunderbusses, and Lewin's like, nah, dude, I cast infinite fucking resists and just escapes. Now the peasant mobs are trying to stop the blunderbusses for a bit. Oh, the Sorcerer Prophet is already pushed off. And one of our Iron Demons is not feeling too good, the other one is fine. One of our Bull Centaur Renders is not feeling too good, the other one's fine. As for the Bretonnians, I don't know how they're doing, okay? All their stupid cavalry symbols look the same. So we have some Knights of the Realm and some Mounted Yeomen routing off. Other Knights of the Realm doing okay, Grail Knights are half HP. These Knights of the Realm apparently fine. Hippogriff Knights, I don't know. They all look the same, there we go. Full HP on those guys. So the Bretonnians have taken some damage. Overall, it's fine, I guess. But the Chaos Dwarves are about to lose all their blunderbusses. Is going to quickly come down to can 2 Iron Demons and a single Bull Centaur Render kill off everything without a Lord? I am doubtful. I am scared. I am alarmed. Only played single player or co-op campaigns. This is interesting for me. Hey, Fairy Storm, happy to have you. Hope you stick around. Campaign is also tight. But there's tons of campaign streamers out there. I sometimes play fun campaigns with, like, some of the people from my Discord, but, yeah. I'm not that good at the campaign stuff. I play campaign very, like, honorably, quote-unquote, where I just, like, build cities and try and build, like, a good economy and stuff, and I don't really cheese that much, so no one wants to watch me be bad at campaign. Oh, well. Bull Centaur Render is getting decimated by Lewin and his Knights of the Realm boys. Full health Hippogriff Knight, full health Lewin. We still have a healing caster. I think that is probably GG for the Chaos Dwarves. And I love how little damage those blunderbusses did to Lewin. That was actually wild. Slaanesh is so funny, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing about the rules, while we wait for this slow grind to finish up, is that it is just the Hippogriff Knights chasing around the Iron Demons at this point. A lot of people worry about the rules and stuff, and they're like, oh, the rules are complicated. One, I don't think they are, but also, breaking the rules, even in non-new player tournaments, usually people are pretty chill. It is just a game after all, and people are like, oh, you can't do that. And then you go, oh, okay. Thanks for the heads up. No problem. Don't do it next time. Boom. Easy peasy. Hippogriffs seem a little confused on what to attack, but now they have new orders to come back to this Iron Demon, and he's trying to, like, waddle away, but now he's stuck on their models. But they don't seem to fully know how to interact with them. They spend an awful lot of time just looking at them all funny. And there is army losses to take these guys out at last. Grail Knights will get a quick little regrowth so they can continue fighting the Iron Demon, and I feel comfortable enough to fast forward now that this game is ogre. Boom. Micro can still win you fights head-to-head? Hell yeah. I actually had a multiplayer stream that I won't spoil in case you want to go watch it, but it was on our channel relatively recently. We had myself versus Radiant Ash, Clan Eshin versus Balthazar Gelt. And that pretty much was it, whereas Ash was telling me all of these campaign things where it's like, you shouldn't be in March stance right now, you should be doing this, this, or this. And I was like, oh, fuck, my bad. But then whenever we got into battles, it was like, let's go, multiplayer level micro. So it's like, I would win most of the battles on the battlefield, but then on the campaign map, Ash is like, I took 2 of your cities. I'm like, I didn't even know you were over there. My bad. Alright, we just saw Attack Speed Enjoyer. But this does have Skaven, and it does have a Plague Claw Catapult. Alright, hold on. I need to put out a post for Way. Alright. I'm putting this out. It's a poll, which looks weird, but I'm mostly putting this out in case Wei shows up and he's just lurking. He's a channel frequent fan, but he loves Plague Claw catapults, so every time we have a Plague Claw catapult, I gotta shout out my boy Wei. So I won't cast that one until Wei's here, which means we'll go with the other Johnny Cash game. Vampire Coast versus Anarian's Beastmen. Anarian not playing High Elves seems a bit fucked up, my friends. Evangel? That's messed up. Electric Cabbage, it's also been a while for you, my friend. Hello, hello. Dreaded Saurian? Yes. Hope you're excited for your wedding. On a scale of 1 to 10, 9.5. 9.5 for sure. Sorry, just saving up another replay from people messaging me. Alrighty. For the Vampire Coast here of Mr. Cash, we have a zombie frontline. Pretty good stuff. 2 Sirens, 2 Bombers, some Deck Gunners, and Handgun Mobs. We do have the Bloody Reaper Deck Guard ROR. 2 Scurvy Dogs, a Caster of the Deeps with only Vangeist Revenge, and then Luther Harkon up in the sky. On the other side for the Beastmen, 2 Harpies? None behind me, it looks like. So 2 Harpies in the Vanguard, Ungor Herds, Centigors, Pestigors, more Centigors, a couple Ungor Raiders, and then some Centigors Throwing Axes, Centigors of Tzeentch, and Malagor Dark Omen with just Flock of Doom, it looks like, for him. Vampire Coast generally hate dealing with archers at all times, so I generally recommend taking at least 3 or 4 against them as any faction. 2 is fine, like at least he's bringing them, but usually archer's a great choice. Always want to take him versus the coast. Wedding stream? I do intend on posting some pictures, but not a stream, no. Pestigor is getting melted by bombers right now. 35 armor ain't protecting shit against that many bombs. But they are taking a polearms mob with them. Meanwhile, the Harpies on their way in take a little bit of damage from Luther, and then they're going to dive at the Deck Gunners. We really need the dogs to get activated quickly. Quick. But the micro is just a bit not there. Now, that they are coming in, so that's a good micro decision. Like, he made the correct decision. He just needs to make it a little bit faster, which is one of those things that's pretty easy to improve upon as you play more and more. But I at least will shout out that he made the right decisions, which means he knows his units pretty well and he knows their battlefield function. So, good compliment there from Mr. Cash. Van Geist down the line. Does he see it coming? Will he dodge? Will he dodge? Big spooky ship! And they stay in formation. They're going to get deleted. Oh, oopsie poopsie. The Beastmen are going to want that one back. It is just 2 Ungor herds, but, you know, it's funny. It's funny when a unit gets deleted. Many ha-has were had this day. So the Beastmen are having a bit of a problem. I like their army composition a lot, but they're just engaging one at a time, which is a big problem. Like, we see how many units are just kind of AFK out here, and then the Beastmen will start moving them and coming in. Like, I like all the pieces, but he's got to do them all at once. I like the Harpies diving in on the Deck Gunners. That was cool, but the front line wasn't engaging. The front line got some good fights. The Pestigors are a really good choice against Vampire Coast for armor piercing against crabs or just tanking out bombs. That's all fine, but they all need to move up at the same time. The archers were trying to get in range of the sirens, of the handguns. That's fine, but their front line wasn't moving at the same time, right? So now the Centigors are getting activated, but your front line's already almost dead. So that'd be a thing for, I believe this is attack speed enjoyer, if I remember correctly. He's just gotta, he's making all the right decisions. He just has to make them all faster at the same time. That would be a big improvement for him. Harpies and Malagor back onto the Deck Gunners, trying to get them to crumble a little bit. And the dogs also getting good shots onto the handgun mobs. Centigor's going to have to charge in here. And the Centigors of Tzeentch, armor piercing is wasted on Sirens, but their magic damage will be incredibly helpful against those Sirens. So the Centigors of Tzeentch are actually going to do a surprising amount of damage to the Sirens in a prolonged fight. They'll be just fine. The Beastmen, a bit down to the balance of power, but honestly, I don't think they're out of it just yet. The Beastmen are a very top-tier faction right now, and for a lot of reasons. They do have several good things going for them, and Luther Harkon is not really considered a good lord in multiplayer, which does put you a bit behind on the curve. So while I think the Vampire Coast so far have been playing more cleanly than the Beastmen, they for sure could lose this game just off of suboptimal army composition, which some people just play for fun, and they're like, that's fine, but, you know, there's a reason people don't take Luther, and it's usually just because of his price point doesn't match what he provides on the battlefield. Dogs getting picked off by the Centaurs. Good stuff here from the Beastmen. They do have some forces that need to be rallied. It looks like they're wandering over. They don't want to blob up too much on that one vampire lady, which makes sense. That's fine. Looks like they're trying to regroup with their Centaurs. Malagor is spending his time running away from Luther, and Luther does have that new silence ability they gave him a couple patches ago, so he does have Disrupt. He can stop Malagor from being able to cast spells whenever he shoots at him, though I suppose he is out of ammo, so that doesn't really matter as much anymore, does it? Centaur is pulling away from the Sirens and the Dogs. The Dogs are both in crumbling territory, and that won't be stopping anytime soon. Archers are trying to save Malagor from Luther. It's only semi-working. Another Vangeist. Does he dodge? Does he dodge? He does not dodge with the Ungors or the Pestigors. The Archers tried to turn a little bit, but another beautiful Vangeist down the side takes out multiple more units. Then the terror from Luther and the Sirens moves everybody away, and now Malagor is running for his life. Centaurs have cleaned up the backline of the coast pretty good. Their handguns are all about dead. Sirens also aren't feeling too good. Dogs are about dead, as we mentioned earlier. And the coast does still have this really nasty, full health Bloody Reaver deck guard, which is going to be a bit of a problem. Bombers using the last volleys on the Pestigors as well. Good Flock of Doom out from Malagor. Actually really good considering you got to start whittling down this Bloody Reaver deck guard. They have their own source of healing, so their health bar can be a little deceptive. They probably have been taking damage this whole game. It just probably hasn't stuck. What is getting cast here? I don't know. I don't know what's happening with that little moving around thingy. More bomber mobs being taken to task as the Beastmen once again try and rally. But they can only rally so many times before they start shattering. Meow meow, that's fair. That is a big problem. Thanks for organizing such a great tournament. 3-1 first time participating, Benjamin. Hell yeah, dude, hell yeah. Am I allowed to know what your Discord name is or not really? If you don't want to say that on YouTube, that's fine. I'm just curious. Some people don't care, some people do. If you don't want people to know, then don't tell me. That's fine. And now the MLG Vangeist. Yeah, Vangeist has never had a problem with his damage. It just is a long wind-up time. But if you have a net, or if you're not paying attention, Vangeist can do a lot of damage. Malagor is still wandering around, trying to get some things done. Why is Skype... Shut up! My computer must have had an update or something, because Skype is all of a sudden messaging me, even though I haven't opened Skype in, like, several years. Sirene's managing not to decay while fighting Centaur is going to tear out those guys off. And I love how the balance of power doesn't think this is over yet, and I actually kind of get it. You do still have some armor-piercing infantry in the Pestigors that can do decent damage with Blood of your deck guard, while Malagor continues to spam out Flock of Dooms. Luther is out of ammunition, so who knows how effective he's really going to be. I mean, the Beastmen, like, could do it. It's looking suspect, but they could. You can see the Blood of your deck guard are taking a lot of damage, even with their enraged passive up to 40% damage resistance. Skype, dude, I don't even have it installed. I'm saying my computer probably got updated or something, because I haven't used Skype in years. Years. Centaurs is inch in here, getting some more piercing damage down. Their barriers are still full, so they haven't taken any return damage yet. There go their barriers, and then he charges out. I like that a lot. Just take your barrier damage, then back off, get your barriers back, charge back in. You're not in a real rush. The Beastmen mostly buying for time, so they keep throwing out Flocks of Doom so they can keep diminishing the Blood of your deck guard without fighting them too heavily. Like that. So, yeah. Beastmen need this to go longer. The Vampire Coast are getting more and more worried about it as their units are starting to crumble. We lost the Sirens on the far side. If these Centaurs with throwing axes could come back and just act as a throwing axe unit, we still have about half their models on one, a third of their models on the other, a lot of ammunition that they could be throwing at these Blood of your deck guard, whose healing cap is in sight. Centaurs reforming as these ones come over. It's not my Skype bomb, I was just installed it for a friend. Another Vangeist. Please dodge it! Dodge it! He's starting to dodge. He's getting out of there. The Pestigors will be left to their fate, but there's nothing they can do as the Centaurs get to safety. Luther is also heal capped, which is a very big concern. The Centaur's taking a lot of damage. The throwing axes are starting to move in. The Lizardmen communicated with the old ones on Skype. So Luther doesn't want to let these Centaurs of Zinch get their barriers back. He's just trying to chase them down. He's getting these other ones to rout. And Beastmen along with... Shut up! Fucking Skype. Anyway, Luther's trying to chase down the Centaurs of Tzeentch and make sure they can't keep getting their barriers and cycle charging him like that. That's fine. Isn't Skype part of the regular Windows apps you get by default? Yeah. Biden not a bender? Yeah, that's what it is. Luther regen trying to carry. He's trying, but he's heal capped, man. He can't get any higher. Really depends on how many Flock of Dooms Malagor has left, but seeing as how it's his only spell, he probably has a lot more. Flock of Doom is kind of a crazy spell. If it's all you have, you can just keep spamming it out. I suppose he has thrown out a couple overcasts, however. If you're wondering about the attacking roll, his throwing axes are throwing as often as they really can. But he is attacking, it's just not super obvious. Jeremy's not sure what unit is shut up, then he hasn't played much Skaven, because every unit's shut up. I think he took Fire at Will off these Centaurs, so unfortunately they aren't throwing. And I say unfortunately because he really needs to get his damage out right now. He's running out of units to feed into the blender, so his throwing axes need to be using this time for all they're worth. And it looks like they have Fire at Will off. Both of them do, so they're not throwing as often as he would like. Malagor even dives in for one last attempt, but a taunt lowers... yes, taunt. Lowers his stats by quite a bit. Blood Reaver Guard taking a ton of damage, but... It's going to be army losses here any second as Malagor routes. There they all go. A valiant attempt to come back from the Beastmen. The coast held on. GG's Hayseed. We saw your Kolek game, round 1. That was fun. That was a fun time, Hayseed. Thank you for sharing that with us. I mean, you're banned from all future tournaments just because I don't like you as a person, but, like, your Kolek play is pretty good. I'm just saying, okay, so here's the thing, Hayseed. Here's the thing. Here's why you and I don't get along. You don't invite someone out to dinner, but then imply that I should pay. Because when you're inviting me to dinner, that sounds like you're doing me a favor, when really all you did was trick me into leaving my house, which I hate doing. So, like, have you thought about not doing that anymore? 600 kills Boatcaster. We love Boatcaster. Okay, Skype, you need to stop. I don't know what boat you got off of that makes you think you're captain of the fucking world, but you are not my friend, and it needs to cease. Alright, sort by name. Try not to crash my computer while I'm streaming. I love my computer is trying so hard. He's like, dude, I'm streaming. I'm doing all this stuff. Do we need to be doing this right now? And I said yes, because fuck Skype. Skype's allegedly not on. In my programs, it doesn't say it's running. Like in my task manager. What the fuck? News and interests, end task. I don't care about news and interests right now. Microsoft text input application. Media player. Alright. We'll hope that stopped it. Hope. Hayseed sent us another game, because of course he did. And then I gotta check in on the actual tournament bracket 1 second. Okay, everybody's done, so they're waiting on me. Got it. So that you guys don't have to look at nothing, come with me to look at the bracket. Dragon King and Attack Speed Enjoyer both with 4-0 results. Is that true? Is that true, Attack Speed Enjoyer? I'm trying to think. The one game we casted him already, did he win? I guess he did. Okay. So we'll have Dragon King and Attack Speed Enjoyer do a little tiebreaker. And thanks, Rogue Consultant. Thanks. All right, let's get this thing going. Dragon King, you both 4-0, correct? Or is that false? Okay, if that is true, then they will play one tiebreaker between themselves to see who wins the tournament. And that'll be that. Sound good? Sounds good. Who else are we looking for? I don't believe we've cast any Contrarians Codex. Ah, Skype is still going! Shut up! Turn off all notifications for Skype. Good. Shut up. Fuck off. Good. I got it. I got it. Okay, we still need a Contrarians Codex game. We still need a Titus game. I don't believe we've cast Titus yet. We still need a Dragon King game. We need a Pra 2 game. Okay, but this one has Contrarians Codex and Pra 2, and it's full Eshin Skaven Kite versus High Elf Kite. Okay, okay. You've enticed me. You've piqued my interest. You're getting DM for Skype. Hey, Seed. Yeah, you better be sorry, man. You're about to lose all your 2 Scottish and Swiss views? Hey. 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 Alright, attack speed. Since you're talking to me, you would just play the next map. You know, on the main tournament page, I listed out all the maps for like 7 rounds. Just play the next map, best of 1. You would be top bracket, quote unquote. You just play it like all your Swiss games have been played, but it's just a off-the-record tiebreaker, and you send me the replay, and whoever wins, wins. That's it. We'll see if Dragon King responds, but just in case I'm casting this game and I miss it, I do have my Discord pulled up, so I'm trying to pay attention to it, but, you know, if I miss it, I miss it. Just tell him what I literally just told you, unless he's also here. And if you both can hear me, then you heard it, so you're fine. Bastion Horseman with the 10 euros. Thanks for all these streams, man. The tournaments are a lot of fun. I'll absolutely be back. Next EU-friendly one, the Contrarians Codex. Hey, we're casting your game right now, if I remember correctly. And now I'm paranoid I'm not remembering correctly. And now I'm really paranoid I'm not remembering correctly. I believe the Contrarians Codex is the Skaven here. Anyway, what do we have? It is all Eshin, all Vanguard. Gutter Runners everywhere. You can see Gutter Runners, Eshin Triads, Death Runners, Deathmaster Snitch, an Eshin Sorcerer with his Warp Stars, and then a basic Assassin. On the other side, for the High Elves, we have Warlions of Krace, a Mage of High Magic with Fiery Convocation, interestingly enough. And then Apotheosis, we have some Spearmen, we have some Rangers, Shadow Warriors, and Shadow Walkers with Tyrion, the heir of Venarian himself, leading the charge. Tyrion is actually a little hard for Skaven to deal with. This is a Skaven-favored matchup. It's one of the few that remain, but Skaven are favored here. Tyrion is decent. He's small, he's good at hunting down Ikit Claw or whoever your lord is, and he's not that weak to Cleansing Ruins because of his self-heal from the Heart of Avalorn. Usually he'll be just fine. But Snitch does use his little net onto Tyrion, locking him in place. Unfortunately, he does a little bit of area effect damage to his own troops. Fiery Convocation comes out, but Skaven are going to dodge forward, get out of that range, not really take too much damage from it. It was a good attempt from the High Elves. Balance of power is about 50-50 as the Shadow Walkers and Shadow Warriors are walking up, doing what they can, but so far most of the Eshin shooting units are fine. One Warlion of Krace has killed off one there, but that's going to be a really nasty Sunfang. Ah, that's a good amount of damage, but actually mostly hit the Rangers because of the way the tier shape goes off. Rip in peace, Vishen's Death Squad. Tyrion getting a Apotheosis, but his Faint Riposte giving him insanely high stats. He should actually duel very well against Snitch and the Assassin here. That shouldn't be too much of a problem as Rangers close in to try and help him out. We still have Shadow Warriors and Shadow Walkers in the distance firing up and over as they try and outshoot the Gutter Runners. Not a task that should be difficult, but it can be. We in lobby, so all good? Nice. Hey, Nerdos PA. Yeah, new player tournaments do tend to have more of the spicy, fun builds, as Deathmaster Snitch does do his spinning spin in the middle of these Rangers. Tyrion is going to get his heart popped now, so he should be just fine. Tyrion often has an issue of his heart not popping because he routs, but against Skaven, usually you don't have that problem of routing. There's various leadership buffs I'm not going to get into, but suffice to say, usually Tyrion doesn't get leadership shocked enough by Skaven that he doesn't get his heart proc off. This rear charge from Snick should probably pop it. There it is. So Tyrion's back in action. All of a sudden, the balance of power is High Elf favored because their expensive lord just got back to full HP before our very eyes. Victor's Death Squad and these Gutter Runners trying to run out into the Shadow Warriors, but they are just getting pin cushioned. And a little bit of physical resistance does not stop all these Shadow Warriors from massacring your ass. Not that I think it should. I'm not actually complaining for once. And Tyrion routed? Oh no! I guess he did take a shockingly large amount of damage from these two chasing him down. Oh, but their Eshin status will work against them. Alright, so Tyrion's coming back 100%. Because these guys, as they chase him off, I'm calling it right now. That's why I paused it, because I don't want to look like you just said what's happening. No. They're going to get far enough away from these spearmen that they're going to go stalk, and then Tyrion won't know that they're there, so he'll rally in their face. It's going to happen. Alright, they're separating out. They're going to go stalked, and Tyrion's going to rally right in their face. There he goes! There he goes! It's happened a million times as my Snick just tried to chase off the Fey Enchantress or some Bretonnian fuck. They just rally in his face. But thankfully for the Skaven, nope, never mind. The Elves are on their micro. Quickly scoop up Tyrion and run him away from Snitch and the Assassin, getting out of there nice and safe. That's actually really hard to do. It's not, like, impossibly hard to do, but it is difficult to get, like, as soon as your Lord rallies, just get him out and around. See how he didn't even run back to the battle? He ran around Snitch? That means he was actually, like, watching what was going on and, like, actually moved him rather than just click him off screen and say, hey, come back here, right? So anyway, Spearmen, Shadow Warriors and stuff still holding on, still fighting for now. Tyrion gets Apotheosis that will officially heal cap him. Meanwhile, the Skaven Death Runners are piling back into the Spearmen. Death Runners' main gimmick, though, is that they have armor sundering, which Spearmen don't care about. This is a common misconception about High Elves, but High Elves don't have high armor. They have very high melee defense. And Death Runners don't have insane melee attack. They have, like, fine melee attack if you include their bonus versus infantry. It's 42, but Spearmen actually have a 50 melee defense and low armor. So to get through High Elf front lines, I see a lot of people grab up, like, Marauders with great weapons or Pestigors or something. Pestigors are just a really strong unit right now, so maybe that's not a good example, but you don't need armor piercing, you need stats. So, like, Plague Monks are good, Marauder Berserkers are good, Khorne Marauders with dual weapons, Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons, things like that. You don't really want the armor piercing, you need insanely high melee attack. Just a heads up for anybody out there fighting High Elves. It's why I take a bunch of Savage Orcs. When I'm playing Greenskins versus High Elves, I take Savage Orcs for their supreme melee attack. Doesn't matter that they don't have armor piercing. Snitch has this Skaven win easy. Oh, they're trying. As this Eshin Sorcerer keeps throwing out Ninja Stars and doing okay damage, but he's also damaging himself quite a lot. And I don't know, the Skaven have been down on balance of power this whole game, but the High Elves aren't getting a lot out of it. They still have some Shadow Walkers and Shadow Warriors with a bit of ammunition, but a lot of their ammo is depleted, and the Skaven are just kind of like clinging to the last vestiges of life. As I say that, these Gutter Runners shatter, and they might take Viction's Death Squad with them, as nearby rallying allies could be a problem. Tyrion, one nice Sunfang could take out the last of these Skaven forces, though I don't know what kills their single entities, to be honest. They don't have a ton of arrows left. They don't have any good spells for killing single entities, not like Spirit Leech or Final Transmutation or Traderkin or something like that. Elves lose because they're elves. True, as another Warp Star from the Eshin Sorcerer comes down the line, hits the lady, but she manages to Apotheosis herself. That, plus her naturally high elven leadership, should mean she's fine. She'll come back. She'll be okay. What can Tyrion do? Shadow Warriors and Shadow Walkers having to get involved in melee combat, but Snitch probably has his spin up again soon, which means these guys are going to get deleted. I don't want to be too close in on the fighting in case the spin comes through, and then we get to watch their health bars satisfyingly tank. There go those guys. There goes a bunch of damage off the Shadow Walkers, and Snitch is back, baby. There's the net onto Tyrion. Now, Snitch has scaling damage. The Assassin does not, but Snitch has scaling damage. If the Assassin hits Tyrion, then Snitch might be able to kill him. 1,200 is a bit of a stretch, but Snitch is a big boy. He's a big boy. Tyrion would definitely die in 2 hits from Snitch. Maybe 1? It's a stretch, but like I don't want to underestimate the scaling damage. It's been a long time since Snitch has been meta, so I'm not exactly like... My kind of feel for how much damage he's going to do with any hit isn't great right now. All right. For the High Elves, they still have a bunch of tattered infantry running around and some war lions. They're routing off the last of the Skaven. The Skaven have these 2 healthy single entities, and this is really anybody's game, but I would actually say the Skaven are probably favored in this current state. I know the balance of power doesn't say it, but like the advantages you have, this full health Shadow Walker, this full health Shadow Warrior, if you engage them too slowly, or if it takes too long to kill Snitch, two of his spinning Whirl of Weeping Blades, right? 2 Whirl of Weeping Blades kills off those guys. And another thing a lot of people don't know is Snitch's net, the Deathmaster Sigil, does do an AoE explosion that does a lot of damage. So if Tyrion tries to fight on top of his own troops, which is usually smart, if he gets netted on top of them, he's just going to deal a bunch of damage to his own troops. Tyrion pops Faint and Riposte, trying to just outdo Snitch by stats. 70 melee attack is a lot, but Tyrion does have 84 melee defense and some physical resistance. He still did take 300 damage from that interaction, though. We are back to charging in. Now, the High Elves have some Rangers that need to be brought back to the fight. The High Elves will want to group up. And you do need to just attrition the Skaven down, which is something you can definitely do. Snitch and his Assassin don't have the best melee defense. 50's not bad, but it's also not, like, impossible to get hits in. As another Whirl of Weeping Blades does good damage to the Shadow Walkers, doesn't actually kill them off. And Snitch is now on his own. But the High Elves, a very un-High Elf thing to do, they need to slowly feed bodies into the Snitch grinder. They need to just whittle him down, which is not something they're used to doing. High Elves are used to taking 1v1s and winning them, and the problem is that you usually have more troops than they do. I'm going to ×2 speed, as it looks like the High Elves are reforming lines a little bit. Tyrion's flirting with disaster, though. If Snitch gets one more good net on him, he could die, and I don't know why he's bothering. Alright, Spearman getting back in there with Snitch and the boys. These Rangers are now returning. Gutter Runners are showing up. They don't have ammo, though, so they can't really surprise attack Tyrion. If they show up, it'll be like, surprise! And then they rout. Not much of a surprise. Everything else for the Skaven has routed, except for this sneaky Gutter Runner. And the lads. Snitch still looking for a fight with anybody that's not one of those Shadow Walkers. I love how he keeps trying to keep the High Elves honest. He's like, just come a little too close. Let me get that net off. But Whirl of Weeping Blades is going to be up again. And these High Elves are about to just get massacred. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, they're all getting just bodied. So many dead elves. Oh, my God. And then the explosion on top of the Rangers, too! It's a quadruple disaster! And Snitch dives in, Faint Riposte is back up for Tyrion, but 84 melee defense isn't saving him from shit. Takes a bunch of damage. He does get a hit off on the Assassin, starts to run away, and the High Elf Supreme Leadership is coming in clutch as that Whirl of Weeping Blades just murders all of them, but they're like, nah, we're good. We'll keep fighting. Is Tyrion regen capped? Yes. Yes, he is. High mobility terror bombs? Yeah, but no one here has terror. Tyrion doesn't have terror. Snitch doesn't have terror, does he? No, he doesn't even have cause fear. Alright, so Tyrion's going to try and run down the Assassin. The High Elf basic troops are going to try and run down Snitch. The Gutter Runners are just trying to run away. Which, alright, is what it is. There's still a full health Shadow Warrior over here. There's still a Mage of High Magic that maybe has a couple heals left, though she did throw out 2 fiery complications, so I'm not actually sure where she's at heals-wise. And now Tyrion has gotten the Assassin off the map. Like, there's just no way the Assassin comes back. I love how Snitch is trying to path around all this stuff. Like, I can get to Tyrion. Bruh, he is on the fastest horse that has ever been born. You can't catch him. He's back into the Shadow Warriors. His spin is up again, as this game has gone on very long. That cooldown that's usually decently long has not seemed to matter at all. And Tyrion's back in, but why would you do that? Tyrion, why? You didn't have to be here! And he gets murdered! Tyrion, why did you come back? Tyrion! No! Snitch dives back in. If he has his spin, he could win the game right here with a mass rout. Some of the High Elves are starting to rout. The Elf caster is also coming in. There goes the massive spin, doing so much damage to the Shadow Warriors. The balance of power turns against Snitch, but his leadership is also suspect. But all of a sudden, everybody routs. 0 leadership on the Shadow Warriors, down to -19, and the Skaven will win it. Tyrion, why did you come back? Tyrion, no! You didn't have to! Tyrion, no! Snitch with the 5,000 damage value. Gutter Runners all did okay. Triads didn't get much done. Death Runners didn't get much done. For Pra 2, Tyrion just couldn't let his pride go. He had to fight Snitch 1v1. And he got murdered for it. Too funny. Very great game between these two. It was good stuff. It was good stuff. That's good. Some good stuff. We love it. Alright, we haven't had a Titus game yet. I believe I've only gotten one game from Titus, so I don't have any to choose from. We will be doing this. It's also Norska, which people seem to enjoy. Halvor again, from earlier in the stream, versus Titus. Titus on the Beastmen with the Strat Game Special. Gorgon, double Gorgon Jabberscythe. Norska versus Beastmen. For the Beastmen, real quick, we have 2 Gorgons and the Jabberscythe. It's the Varga Blarga Blarga Blar ROR. 2 Minotaurs, Groghoof's a Wolf's Run, 2 Ungor Raiders, 2 Ungor Spearman Herds, and Malgor Dark Omen Flakadoon. On the other side for Norska, we have a Sorcerer of Death with just Spirit Leech, a bunch of Marauders, some Throwing Axes, and Javelin Throwers. Wulfric the Wanderer with just Sea Fang, and then we have some Throwing Axe Cav, Skin Wolves, and Dogs. So largely, this is in general, right? If you're in quick battles and you're like, I can't beat blobs, how do you beat blobs? One, you need to have a build that has some kind of things to deal with them. So every build you take into quick battle, into any battle, but especially quick battle, if you want to deal with blobs, you either need a spell, like Final Transmutation, or Traderkin, or Spirit Leech, to deal with single entities, preferably Final Trans or Traderkin. And you could also have some archers, or Skirmish Cav. And where a blob is strong is it takes one part of the battlefield, and it says, I get to win here. You cannot come in here, you cannot win here, because I have 12,000 funds right here sitting in this blob. And there's no way you can get all 12,000 of your funds. The way to beat a blob is say, okay, I accept that you own this part of the battlefield. I own this part of the battlefield. You need to take full advantage of your space. So play cheeky, and if someone's in a blob, just maximize your range advantage. If anybody is caught out, like this Gorgon is way out of position, Skin Wolves and Dogs got to be on his ass, right? They got to be on him. And then if the blob moves over towards him, then you run away. You run away. You don't have to be here. The blob can reform while you fight these marauders or whatever, and then you just keep throwing it with throwing axes. You keep casting Spirit Leeches. You keep casting spells. You keep charging in your Minotaurs or Norscan Ice Trolls or whatever monster stuff you have. You charge it in, maybe your cavalry, and you charge it back out. Like, use your space. If you see a blob and your build isn't a blob, don't play their game. Just don't. You know, feed in as few infantry at a time as you can to keep them busy and shoot the fuck out of them, right? So you see here, we have some Skin Wolves and Norscan Wolves that aren't quite getting into the fight yet, and we do have too many Marauders committing all at the same time. Wulfric Seafang should be able to take out the Ungor Spearman herds quite quickly. And here comes the Gorgon. So this Gorgon is very far overextended, and we do need to see some Skin Wolves catch him out for that. But the really beautiful boat from Norska takes out both of the Ungor Spearman herds on the drop, and now that means these Minotaurs and Gorgons have to fight with no support. Yes, this is good. This is good stuff. Wulfric hopping in with the dogs while Skirmish still throw at this Gorgon. He's already down to half HP, and if you can isolate him, if you can rout him, then you need to use your superior mobility advantages to chase off anything that routes. It looks like Norska is on top of it. Skin Wolves and Dogs beating up on the Grog's Wolf's Run, in position to maybe chase off these guys when they rout. We do have some other Skin Wolves fighting the Varga Blarga Blarga Blar. Wulfric has almost finished off this Gorgon. Now, another important thing is ammo conservation if there's a bunch of healing. Once this thing routes, it's effectively dead. You need to move your ranged assets onto the stuff that's still alive, because a routed unit, if you just chase it off with your superior mobility, it's going to go off the battlefield. It doesn't matter how much it heals anymore at that point. But this Gorgon is being surprisingly tanky. There it routes. Now Wulfric can follow it off. The ranged units need to focus on this other Gorgon or the Jabberscythe. Ungor Raiders getting picked off. Dogs doing a great job chasing things down. And so far, this Norska execution has been nearly textbook on how to deal with a blob. It has been really, really well played so far by Norska. Now, why am I not talking about what the blob player is doing as much? Just because there's not a lot of agency to talk about, where it's like, yeah, you took your good units and they're in mostly good fights and you're mostly not overextending. Like, yeah, you're doing that fine. It's just, it's harder when you're casting to talk about the low agency side of a matchup, where it's the Jabber Scythe is charging around, the Gorgon is standing around, but really this Norscan execution has been beautiful. We do have a Marauder, a Minotaur, sorry, chasing off Marauders in the distance, and this Gorgon did not get chased down. Now, Gorgons have really strong healing, but only in melee, which means he's actually kind of shit out of luck. 0 leadership and not able to get into a fight is going to be brutal. Other Gorgon was killed by Wulfric, the Duelist Man. Jabber Scythe has no healing for itself. Malagor is just up above, but I think this is GG, and really, really tight gameplay here from Norska. Well done. Human Boy's nickname for it. The Varga Blarga Blarga Blar? Because it's a good one. Alright, we do have the finals are in, but I do want to finish casting at least one game from everybody before I get to the finals. Nice job by Halvor. That was good stuff. Like, I had some notes. You know, I'm not trying to just say he played literally perfectly. I feel like he could have fed his Marauders to their death a little slower, but and be a little quicker on some of the punishes whenever Titus was out of position. But his punishes, when he executed them, were very, very good. Kept his ranged units alive where he needed to. Kept his sorcerer alive where he needed to. His skirmish cav did good. And he did mostly good at chasing stuff off the map. That Gorgon was somehow allowed to come back, but everything else that routed was chased off by the dogs, so it was beautiful. Well done. And that's how you defeat blobs. For Titus, this is overall a pretty strong blob. I am a little worried about it versus Norska, since Norska does have access to some very, very cost-effective anti-large, non-armor-piercing monstrous units. So that's a little suspect there. It's overall strong, but I think if you have double Gorgon Jabber, you don't also need Minotaurs. You need bodies for the Gorgons to play on top of. Because as we saw, once these Ungor Spearman were out, all of a sudden the Gorgons were constantly surrounded. So it's like, cut the Minotaurs, just get a bunch more chaff, and then have your Gorgons and Jabber Scythe just like charging around the battlefield wherever they feel like being. There's that. But they just need bodies to stand between them and danger while they hard carry. Look at that beautiful build. I want to cast that, but we can't right now. So what do we still need? We still need Drago. Cast Titus. I'm just looking for who I haven't cast at all. We need Drago. It looks like that's it. I've cast everybody else at least once. Yes. Okay, let's get Drago done, then we can stop worrying about who's who. The Vorbergland Broodmother. No. No, the Varga. I decided I can't troll so many units at the same time, so I decided to sacrifice some Marauders. Fair enough, dude. Fair enough. All right. For our final random game of the day, we do have Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons mixed with Marauders and Chaos Warriors with halberds. We have Kolek Suneater again. Whose build is this? Is this Hayseed? Hold on. Now I have to know, because Hayseed is the only person taking fucking Kolek. Yeah, it's Hayseed. All right, cool. I was like, there's no way I have 2 people in this tournament taking Kolek Suneater. So for Hayseed, it's that mixed frontline Kolek Suneater, and then a Slaanesh caster with Hysterical Frenzy and Pavane of Slaanesh, then some Skull Crushers and the Swords of Chaos. On the other side for Drago, Sigvald the Magnificent, a Slaanesh caster on its shrine. And then we do have the Mirror Guard, a bunch of spears, including the Prince of Perfection. We have Seekers of Slaanesh, Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh, and Chaos Furies as well. I am confused, because I know something about this game, but I'm confused how it happens. So Kolek is getting rampaged right now, but he has all of his buffs popped, and so far he's picking perfect targets. Okay. Swords of Chaos and the Skull Crushers are charging as well as the Lash of Slaanesh goes down the side. So far things are going very well for the forces of the Warriors of Chaos. Slaanesh have some skirmish cav out and about, wandering around. His Seekers are going to get a nice charge onto Marauders. Marauders brace, but it's not like they actually have charge defense or anything like that. They're going to get taken out very quickly here, and Slaanesh can chase them down for some army ability. Now, the frontline fight should go heavily to the Warriors of Chaos, and we are seeing that. The single entity fight should go heavily to the Warriors of Chaos, and we are seeing that. The skirmish cav is uncontested, so Slaanesh can have that, and Slaanesh also has the Air Force in Furies, but that doesn't feel like a whole lot. Slaanesh caster is already pushed off. Sweet Sorrow trying to give them extra speed and vigor to get them out of here, but also give them a little bit more leadership. It's too late for that, as the Skull Crushers are probably going to chase them down. Kolek even throws out his little lightning bolt on these devoted Marauders with Slaanesh, doing about 2,500 damage to them. Boof ba boof. But he's not able to chase down the cultists, so the cultists will be back. Or the Chaos Sorcerer. Whatever. Warriors of Chaos are way up on the balance power, considering we're only 2 minutes into this game, but Furies are going to help chase off some dogs. We still have a bunch of Chaos Warriors according to dual weapons. Another Lash of Slaanesh is out, hurting the Prince of Perfection just a little bit. And what can Slaanesh do? Balance power is only slightly against them. I am feeling a lot more pessimistic. Is there no connection problem if I would play in US tournament? Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. I was trying to say it earlier, but the time zones things are just to be friendly to different people. Like, if every tournament was in the North American time zone where I live, some, European new players would be like, dude, this is never at a time I can play. So I just switch up the time zones so that more people have a chance to play. I don't switch up the time zones to gate anybody. If you're around, play in any new player tournament. For sure. Don't worry about it. Chaos Sorcerer getting beat up by Kolek and the boys again. Sigvald's still fighting out here, and we still have Seekers running around. I guess they're a lot of balance of power, too. They're 1,000 gold a pop, but I just don't believe in Seekers. As they pile into these halberds, they are going to take a lot more damage than the halberds are. And the Sorcerer is out yet again. Looks like Kolek's not going to let him get away a second time. Constantly poking at that guy. Swords of Chaos also chase him away. Tasks the Sorcerer of Slaanesh to take out the Sorcerer of Slaanesh, which is mean. Shouldn't do that. Shouldn't make him fight himself. Seekers and Fury still charging in on these halberds every so often. And the Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh do have impressive armor-piercing values. That is one thing that's pretty good for them. And I see some sort of debuff, but I'm not sure what it is. I guess it's just Sigvald's debuff for things. So with no Sorcerer of Slaanesh for the Force of Slaanesh, I guess they can get army ability still, but it's not like Slaanesh has a big army ability that does a ton of damage to Chaos Warriors, so I don't know how they're going to clean that up. Skirmish Cav running away, running low on ammunition. Dragon King sending me a replay. TY. Alright, sorry for that little distraction. Yeah, we host a new player tournament every week, though, so don't push yourself too hard. Every week we host one, and every week we switch what time zone it is to be more amenable to people. Sigvald is slowly churning his way through Chaos Warriors of Khorne, which I'm actually kind of surprised he's doing this well against Chaos Warriors. Like, sure, he'll beat them, but I'm surprised he's beating them this handedly. I mean, they're Chaos Warriors. They're not Marauders, for God's sakes. Swords of Chaos very damaged. Skull Crusher's pretty damaged. Kolek above half HP. His Sorcerer friend is also doing fine, however. Seekers opting into a fight get a little bit of damage on the Swords of Chaos, but then they will Demonic Instability crumble anyway. And all the Skirmish Cav in the world piling up on these Chaos Warriors of Khorne trying to deal with them. Does not appear to be going their way. Hey, Sir Bids. How you doing, man? How you doing? Kolek and the lads trying to catch some of the Skirmish Cavalry, which, again, all of them are out of ammo, so they are just light cav now. What is this? Is that a rampage onto the Chaos Warriors of Khorne? Yeah, I think he's just doing that for the damage. I don't think he's actually doing that to, like, rampage them into a bad situation, man. They're heavy infantry. They're not really going anywhere. They're already in the situation they're going to be in. Also, we have 114 people watching a new player tournament. That warms my little soul. And if you feel like getting more content like this, subscribe. And if you don't want more content like this, then I don't know, man. Take some responsibility in your life and like stop clicking on videos like this so YouTube stops recommending. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say here. That's not my problem. I can't stop my content from reaching you. Alright, Chaos Warriors are routed off. Swords of Chaos look like they're going to get routing soon. They are ITP, so they can't terror route. Though, does anything here actually cause terror? No, Sigvald doesn't. No, there's no terror. It's fine. Mosh Pit? Yeah, Mosh Pit. The Vein of Slaanesh. Rampages the Marauder Horsemen? Hello? Rampage? There the Rampage went. Did anybody else see that Rampage not go for a while? What was that? That was weird. What the hell? Does Sigvald have some ability that stops people nearby getting contact effects? I don't know. That was just weird. I didn't like it. Let the record show. Human Boy didn't like it. Sigvald is still out here fighting, and at some point somebody's gonna have to deal with him. And oh no. So this is not confirmed. I'm not a programmer, but I strongly suspect Kolek's hitboxes are broken for infantry characters. And Sigvald is already a tanky motherfucker to deal with. And if Kolek can't hit him, like 1 out of every 6 shots just is literally going to physically miss, that makes it even less likely he's going to get good hits onto Sigvald. I am very worried that Kolek just won't be able to kill Siggy. He is getting good hits for now, but I have had many times where Kolek just refuses to hit infantry models. Another lightning cast is coming out. Good little damage there. And Slaanesh still very down the bounce power, though. It is largely coming down to just Kolek and his caster versus Sigvald. Skullcrusher's barely hanging on. Swords of Chaos aren't hanging on. And for Slaanesh, we have a half-health Fury and then 2 wounded Skirmish Cav trying to come back to the fight. But Sigvald kicked Kolek's ass. Now Kolek wanders away. Sigvald still healing up with his auric armor. I don't know how much healing he has left, but it's there. Hayseed, I'm sorry, the hybrid doesn't work. Skullcrushers get charged by the light cav and Sigvald, taking too much damage. They will get taken out, but they were just trying to get a little bit of damage down before they're out. It's accepted at this point that they were going to die. Kolek is back in. Now, all of Slaanesh's ITP, his terror means nothing. He's going to pop all of his buffs. And he gets Hysterical Frenzy for insane melee attack. 137 melee attack. He misses Sigvald on the second shot anyway. Misses on the third anyway. Misses on the fourth anyway. And this is what I was worried about. He's just missing way too much to be statistics. There he gets another good shot in. Sometimes he gets distracted by the Mirror Guard. I accept that. But also, some of these are just ridiculous, you guys. Come on. There he was hitting the Mirror Guard, and they need to rout very soon. The Vein of Slaanesh is onto Sigvald. Sigvald's hitting that Chaos Sorcerer. And still the Mirror Guard refused to abandon him. As Kolek's fighting it out. Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh spending their time chasing off the Skullcrushers. Now they are charging in, but these Mirror Guard just will not leave. And Kolek's finally getting some better hits onto Sigvald. It will also go much better for Kolek if it's a true one-on-one and not having random people distract him from time to time. He gets more shots in. He shatters off that Marauder Horseman. Chaos Furies are back in, and Kolek's still trying to hold it down. Sigvald's heal cap is in sight, and there goes a nice lash down the sides. That might finally be able to tip the scales, get the Mirror Guard out of here, who are at 0 leadership, and they have been for quite a while, but they just aren't leaving. And Kolek takes some time to try and get rid of them, but Sigvald's going to be hitting him in the back the entire time he does so. And the Mirror Guard just don't give a fuck. They aren't leaving at all. Skirmish Cap charging back in as Sigvald gets another hit onto Kolek. All of a sudden, the balance of power is against Kolek and the boys, and Kolek just can't do it. He's trying so hard. He's actually gotten decent value today for Hayseed, but it's not going to be enough, and he's getting some kind of buff. It's probably Hysterical Frenzy yet again. Another big old buff of melee attack, but he's down to 2 leadership, and it is falling. Gets rid of those Marauder Horsemen, but the Mirror Guard aren't leaving, and the Mirror Guard have some kind of buff for Sigvald, don't they? Yeah, they have plus 10 melee defense for Sigvald as long as they're around, making it even harder to deal with. And Kolek is just not equipped to deal with these guys, and Kolek fails us yet again, though Hayseed put on a hell of an effort to try and make it work. Yeah, there's some, and here's so Spellbound's in the chat, and he's usually better than me about knowing like the programming part of how the units work, and like something. I talked to you Mayes about this a bit too, but like when I say something is wrong, it's not because I know exactly what's happening. It's looking at that character and knowing after watching hundreds and hundreds of replays of this video game, I know how characters should interact, and something about it's not right. Kolek with that much weapon strength and that much melee attack, fighting a mirror guard that was that low, and Sigvald, neither of their health bars were moving appropriately. So if you want to say that Kolek kept getting distracted and throwing shots at the mirror guard, then the mirror guard should have died. But they didn't. They hung around at super low HP. And Sigvald also hung around. So like if he's hitting something, he's doing way less damage than he should be. Something's not right there. That's all I mean. So if you want to debate me on the specifics of like what exactly is going wrong with Kolek in that situation, that's fine. But if you want to tell me Kolek was working appropriately, no shot. No shot that that's working correctly. He should have been able to at least get rid of the mirror guard or something. Yeah. That's all I want to say. I know, like, sometimes Umays and I will get into a bit of a fight where he's like, you're wrong about this thing. And I'm like, I'm not... Like, I may not have it correct what is wrong, but something is wrong. Anyway. We do have our finals. So, the reason I said at the start of that game something was weird is I had no faith that Slaanesh build would win. And then as the game was going on, I'm like, yeah, Slaanesh is fucked. And somehow Sigvald clutched it out. But I did know that Drago got to the finals with 4-0. So I knew Slaanesh won because the player was in the finals. But I'm like, wait, how the fuck do they win this? So both finalists sent me the replay, as you can see here. I don't know who won the finals. I'll just cast this one. Doesn't really matter. But no spoilers for anybody. I actually have no idea who won yet. Let's find out. This is the finals for our tournament. After that, I'll scroll through the replays we have left and look for any that look particularly entertaining, and I'll cast those, and then we'll call it a day. But both of these players, Attack Speed Enjoyer and Drago, got to the finals with a perfect 4-0 record. One of them is going 5-0 to win today's tournament. One of them is going 4-1 to come in second. And can I say that our new play... This would never happen in a tournament with more sweaty tryhards. I'm looking at you, sweaty tryhards, including myself. We have a Slaanesh Wood Elf finals between these two. Yeah, Golden Floof says it. Golden Floof says it. Let's go. This is why we love new player tournaments. Spicy builds, spicy factions. Because newer players tend to just pick whatever faction's their favorite and play that, whereas sweaty tryhard filth-mongering players just play what's strong. Those bitches. You boy beat me up and stole my lunch money? That sounds like something I would do. Can you change your build, or do you have to go through the whole thing the same build? No, you can change your build. Yeah, you can change your build, you can change your factions, you can change everything. Some players just like have a build they're comfortable with, and they just run it for comfort rather than trying to optimize per matchup. Yeah. Anyway, for the Wood Elves, we have Blade Singers, Eternal Guard, and then some Glade Riders with Hagbane tips, some Glade Guard, double Waystalker, and a Spellweaver of Life with Earthblood. On the other side for Slaanesh, we have Chaos Furies, Marauder Horsemen, Seekers, and more of that. A front line of Marauder Spears and the Mirror Guard, Sigvald, and a Slaanesh caster. But the Slaanesh caster is already in a bit of trouble, rampaging one of the Glade Guard in, but the rest of the Glade Guard are lighting him up on his extremely tall and easy-to-hit War Shrine. Physical resistance and missile resistance are not going to save him. He's already routing. As the mobility forces of Slaanesh are trying to get in here, trying to stop some of these archers, the early game is very much going to the Wood Elves. But much like the Skaven, much like Cathay, much like the Empire of old, now with the Steam Tanks, it's a little less true, but the shooting faction will get ahead early. It's how long can you keep that shooting online and how long can you stay ahead is the real concern. Eternal Guard catch some Seekers on their way in. as the rest of the Slaanesh cavalry are catching out some of the Wood Elf skirmish cavalry from behind, chasing those guys off. The Bladesingers made extremely short work of the Slaanesh front line. Now these Bladesingers are going to fight Sigvald and the Mirrorguard. Sigvald and the Mirrorguard will probably win that, but it'll probably be a cost-effective trade for the Bladesingers as they'll trade up into both those units. But Sigvald alone should be able to handle Bladesingers decently well. Furies and the Cav of Slaanesh all marching in, forcing the Wood Elves back, killing off a lot of their archers. Balance of power still is very, very Wood Elf favorite, however. And I must tend to agree, though, the Slaanesh caster is back. We have a Fury off in the distance, still chasing around some skirmish calves, so I guess that makes sense. And these devoted marauders of Slaanesh are technically engaged, but I'm sure the Slaanesh player wishes they were more engaged. Sometimes you can't get to pick that. Bladesingers have almost killed off the Mirrorguard, but they themselves have almost died in the effort. And I guess there's 3 Bladesingers, not 2, though a nasty Lash of Slaanesh plus Bolt of Slaanesh, or Doombolt, or whatever the hell that thing is called, come in and cause some problems. Seeker's already fading away, however. We have 1 Seeker left. We still have some Skirmish Cav who are going to take a charge with Bladesingers. And that's a good charge as long as that's the end of it. You need to back off immediately because any constant contact with the Bladesingers, your Skirmish Cav are going to get eviscerated. But on the charge, they'll do extra damage. You can see now that that is just going to shit for them so quickly. Slaanesh still very down on the balance of power. So the Wood Elves have a bit more meat left in them. Earthbloods healing up some of their forces, plus their superior infantry force, plus their cavalry not being demonic is a lot of things going in their favor. Demonic units got buffs, but correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Seekers didn't get the buff most demonic units did, which is kind of insane because Seekers have been bad since the game started. Even if you remember back to the way old times when Slaanesh was OP, they were OP because of Hellstriders, not Seekers. Seekers have always been trash. Alright, Sigvald and his caster, last things left here. Can Sigvald carry all by himself once again? I really don't think so, because we have 3 Bladesingers on the map. This one's very injured, but maybe with some Earthblood spam they could be okay. But this full health Bladesinger, plus the other half health one, honestly could kill off Sigvald on their own. They are specifically designed to kill things like him, and they're even getting Earthblood support while they do it. Now, Sigvald is going to snipe out their Lord and Caster. Waystalkers continuing to fire away at the Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh, and it looks like the Wood Elves are going to be taking this tournament. Yeah. Sigvald doesn't get knocked over, so he actually rolls the hit chance properly. Still dead. Yeah. No, I don't mind Sigvald as much anymore. Like, I know he was a terror for a long time, but I don't think he's even a problem right now. I think he's just, like, solid. But you don't see him much. Like, this new player tournament is the first time I've seen him in a couple months, and I do think there's a reason for that. And it's just, this is the reason. It's kind of similar with, who else am I thinking of? Well, whatever. The times where you could just pick Sigvald and he'll carry the game are kind of gone because you'll lose so much of the battlefield while he stands around and, like, doesn't die, but he doesn't win particularly hard either. It's just kind of gone. The meta of what wins games has just moved so far away from that. Because he was strong when blobs were strong, but now that blobs aren't as good, he's just not as good. He's still fine. It sounded very negative. It's just, Warriors of Chaos have a lot better Lords. Bladesinger's getting really good value, as we expected against those Chaos Warriors and then Sigvald. So, well done to Attack Speed Enjoyer. Good win on the tournament today. Let's post his congratulations out here. Attack Speed Enjoyer. Hey, man. Long time no see. I hate you. And I hope you have melty ice cream. Congrats on the tourney win. Though. Bet you cheated. With love, Hummus. Alright, let's promote him to a Bone Ripper. Isn't High Elf still strong to Skaven? Oh, no, sorry, Sigvald? Yeah, he can be. I just meant, like, you don't pick Sigvald against every matchup anymore. Dongus Butterfist? What up, dude? I remember that name. Well, we have one every... We have every week we have a new player tournament. Kyle Thompson. I see you, Rambo. 1 second. Kyle Thompson with the 10 pounds. Join your channel. It's great to see you taking up the mantle for land battle community after turn develop that weird fetish for domination. Hey, we all have weird fetishes for lots of things. I have one for trying to think of something innocent. Broccoli. Broccoli makes my fucking day. There we go. Made it up. Anyway, Rambo. I know you're joking, but a real thing. The biggest complaint I get from people about rules, and the biggest thing people are confused about rules, is the attacking rule. Because on our server, we have 3 main rules for anybody that's thinking about hopping in. There is, you must always be attacking in some form. Don't camp in the forest. Don't camp near the white line. That's really it. Those are the main rules. And that attacking one gets people, because they think, I mean, if you have 20 units, all 20 units have to be attacking at all times, so you're breaking the rules and you're a bad person. That's not true. Something, somewhere, has to be attacking, right? So if you have a single catapult, and the catapult is firing, you're good. Your other 19 units can stand around and do nothing, because you're participating in the game. The whole point of that rule is just, hey, play the fucking game. That's all it's trying to do, right? Because you have that situation on like quick battles where someone loses all their units but army loss hasn't hit yet, and then they just run away from you till the timer goes out. The rule's just to prevent that. It's just to prevent people from being like a dick. Or like, I'm just going to cast Spirit Leech on you over and over and over again while running away. That's just not fun. That's just not good gameplay. Is it possible within the game? Yeah. But the whole point of this Discord server is like, hey, I want to handshake some people to try and have a better experience than quick battles. Like, go do that shit on quick battles, that's fine. It's whatever, you know, do it in campaign and stuff. But on the server, it's like, hey, okay, don't just cast Spirit Leech at me over and over again. Like, come on, let's play this game. Right? So that's the attacking rule in a nutshell, is just like, something somewhere needs to be trying to play the fucking game. Other than that, you're good. Not everybody has a problem with that one, but some people are like, that rule seems harsh. And it's like, no, it's not everything, it's something. So, all right. Attack speed, telling me to enjoy attack speed. Wrong, attack damage all the way. Now, I will look through these replays and see if anything strikes my fancy and we'll cast that, but I'm not obligated. I'm going to cast that because that looks really fun. Maybe. No. Rogue Consultant and Anarian. These are both good, solid meta builds, but I've also cast a lot of good, solid meta games in my time, so I'm going to skip it. Nothing against either of you as people. I'm going to say no, even though the Princess is pretty spicy. It is just High Elf Spears versus Warriors of Chaos, and we're going to see if Azazel can carry. I'm just going to pass on that, sorry. This is the same game, but in reverse. This game looked really fun, and Nimbus Way has never showed up, but we might still cast it. I'm going to skip that because it's a Grand Cathay balloon blob that I really don't feel like dealing with. Again, nothing against the players, it's just I want to end the stream at some point, and I am now just casting anything that strikes my fancy. So we have 4 games left till the end of the stream. I'll put that one on hold as I hear people are here. All right, my mother-in-law is here and Grace's sister, so I'll make this fast. Where did this come from? I didn't see this. That's nice. 1 second. Hey!
Oh, hey!
Hey! You making noise? Hi. What's up?
Calm down. Can they see your eyes?
No, you. No, the camera's facing towards the window.
Your haircut's cute.
Thank you. I'm cute.
Hi.
I live. I'll be done here in like 45 minutes.
We might be gone by then, so.
Okay.
We'll see
Are they
how
leaving, or
No,
like coming back?
not leaving. We're just gonna
We'll
maybe
see
go
you.
like a whole time.
We'll see you.
Okay. Just making sure I didn't miss out on them entirely. Or whatever, I don't care. It's fine. They're my in-laws, so now I have to hate them.
Not yet.
Officially.
Anything can happen.
Oh yeah, this is a cute bathroom.
All right, bye. Okay. They were right outside my door, and I was like, hello. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. You must love these Zoomers, then? I don't love Zoomers. Don't love anything. All right, Halvar versus Corvus Glaive. Again, I'll say Corvus, as far as I know, he watches the VODs. And I've said this every time, and he always ignores me, so I think he just likes playing this way. But for anybody out there who's looking to build good greenskin armies and just wants my honest feedback, bring a caster. You always have to bring a caster. Casters are super important in how this game works. It's just a resource you are leaving on the table if you don't buy it, right? It's not like you're paying extra money for Winds of Magic. If you don't bring one, you save a bunch of money. Almost all casters are cost efficient. Always bring one. He refuses to. All right, cool. Got that PSA out of the way. He never does, so I'm not shocked. It's kind of his whole shtick. For the Greenskins, we have Nasty Skulkers and Orc Boar Boys in the woods, fighting with some Norskan Ice Wolves and Skin Wolves here. Then for the rest of the Greenskin force, we do have Orc Boys, Savage Orcs, Black Orcs, Grimgor, a Giant, and then some Goblin Archers. For Norska, a couple Marauder Horse with throwing axes, more Skin Wolves and Norskan Ice Wolves, a front line of Marauders backed up by 3 Javelin Throwers, 1 Norskan Troll, and a Wolfric and a Deathcaster with Spirit Leech. Cool. Nasty Skulkers already going to rout in the face of these dogs and Skin Wolves, but the Orc Boar Boys are also trying to take a fight with them. Now, the Skin Wolves are double advantaged here. Their anti-large is going to be very nice, but also I believe they have Woodsman. Strider, but it might be the same. They are probably ignoring the terrain penalties of fighting in the forest. So the Orc Boar Boys are taking extra problems, and you can see how poorly it's going for them in the stats as they are getting wrecked. So the forest fight went horribly bad for the forces of the Greenskins. They're going to hope the front line goes a bit better for them. They should easily overwhelm the Norskan front line with Marauders versus Savage Orcs and Orc Boys backed up by archers and stuff. It's just not going to be a fun time to be a Norskan. Savage Orcs pile in. Soon their stone axes will be cleaving through tender Marauder flesh. Happy 2 days from the wedding. Thank you, son of Kieran. Thank you. I hear a boat. Boat goes through Orc Boys and Savage Orcs, doing a lot of damage. Even pokes some Black Orcs at the back. But meanwhile, Grimgor and the Giant are hunting Wolfric. A little bit of a whoopsie as he didn't keep getting away. Obviously, he's much faster than them, so that is just a mistake if he gets caught. And he is going to get away now, as Grimgor pops all of his buffs to try and get himself out of a bad situation. Greenskin frontline is working on the Marauders, but they're getting rear-charged by Skin Wolves who are coming out of the trees, along with Trolls and Dogs and everything, so the Norskan mobility once again proving its strength, like it did at the anti-Beastmen game. It is really tough when you lose the mobility advantage. It's really why you don't see frontline dominant builds being the meta, is just, it's so important to have battlefield presence and control. And the superior front line of the Greenskins is just getting rear-charged into death. Their low leadership can't withstand being rear-charged like that. The Black Orcs are a bit hardier or folk. They'll be fine. But we're losing a lot of random Orc Boys and Savage Orcs to these rear charges that Norska's pulling off. And Norska completely owns the backfield with Greenskins now. Hey, Cabtails. Hi, Suli. Formerly known as Art Splash, I believe, if I remember correctly. So Skin Wolves roaming around, getting some healing here and there, chasing down some stuff. Grimgor and his Black Orcs are still holding just fine. He had 3 Black Orcs, right? Where's the third one? Oh, maybe just had 2. Maybe. Don't know. Bounce powers against Corvus, just a bit. Corvus Glaive, the Greenskin player. The Skin Wolves hunt down Grimgor. They're not going to want that fight for very long, but I think they're just getting some damage out before they'll back away and regen up. Javelin Hunters are trying to get damage onto Grimgor where they can. The Giant's getting awfully low as Skin Wolves dive back onto him as well. As we mentioned with the double Gorgon Jabberscythe build, Skin Wolves are more than happy to take this fight. This is a lowly armored large target, which they are non-armor piercing, but anti-large. And I heard Wolfric's boat. I didn't see Wolfric's boat. There it is. Just saw the end of it. Orc Boys and Marauders fighting to the death. The Marauders look like they're losing out, even with boat support. Grimgor pops his Blood-Forged armor again with a little volcanic burst, and he's going to cleave through a Skin Wolf before our eyes, kill that model outright. But the Javelin Throwers are safe and sound to take out the Giant, leaving Grimgor mostly alone. Norska's still trying to sweep up the Greenskins wherever they can find them. For Norska, we are blobbing up a little bit too much here. You do want to back off, just in case. But overall, it's fine. Like, some of these Skin Wolves could be chasing down Orc Boar Boys or something. You don't need all 3 Skin Wolves fighting the Giant and now Grimgor. Also, the Spirit Leech caster, I don't know where they are, but they need to be just casting Spirit Leech on cooldown onto Grimgor. He's the last thing keeping the Greenskin army in the game, but also he's the only thing your Skin Wolves can't deal with here. Your skin wolves can deal with savage orcs. They can deal with orc boar boys. They can't really deal with black orcs, but it seems like that's not too much of an issue. But Grimgor is a uniquely bad thing for the skin wolves to be fighting. He's infantry-sized, heavily armored, high melee defense. It's not great. Your next is popped on Wulfric while Grimgor has all of his buffs, but the buff he doesn't have is army loss proof, as that does take him out. Yes, single entities can fulfill the attacking rule when single entities are the only things that are left, Rambo. Like, if all of your stuff is dead and you only have single entities left, then single entities can fulfill the attacking rule just because they're all you have. I believe that's the part you're looking at. It's just so that you don't get called on a rule break when you have no other units left. And it's like, you're not attacking. Dude, I am. All I have is Sigvald. Like, he's standing in Chaos Warriors fighting for his life. I am attacking. Wulfric is an armored caster, not a duelist. Maybe he is an armored caster. Alright, we have 3 games left. Coast and Dark Elves and Khorne, and then Greenskins and Skaven. I'm still holding out hope that Nemesis Whale show up, so we'll leave the Skaven to the last. We have Pentabloats. So Tapat, trying to recreate his previous magic worked with the Pentabloats that made it up to YouTube. He's fighting Dark Elves again, but Corvus Glaive. Hey, we're getting another Corvus Glaive game. With Malice Darkblade. Still no caster. This man refuses to take a caster. But he has Malice and 2 Scourge Chariots that could all screen for him a bit against these bloated corpses. For the bloated corpse build, we have 5 bloated corpses. 2 are in the front lines of his army. 3 are in the trees. We have 2 Sirens, some handgunners, some hand cannons, Luther Harkon on foot, and then a Deeps caster with Vangeist's Revenge, Fog of the Damned, the Summon, and Tidecall, which is a lot of spells. That's too many spells. On the other side, for the Dark Elves, 5 Dark Riders I thought I saw. Oh, there's also 2 Bomber Bats. I forgot them. Anyway, 5 Dark Riders, 1 Cold One Night, 2 Scourge on Chariots, 1 which is the Ravagers of Karth, and then 5 Witch Elves, a Dread Spear, and Malice Darkblade. So as you can see here, this is an example of what we were talking about. This is attacking. The Dark Elves are attacking right now. Their Scourge on Chariots are shooting. That's fine. That's fine. Their Witch Elves can all run away. They don't have to suicide into their death. That's it. So Scourge Runners are trying to poke out this bloated corpse, who has actually survived a shockingly large amount of damage. I kind of thought they just exploded no matter what. TBH. There we go. He finally explodes. And the Dark Riders actually took some decent damage from our Bomber Bats roaming around. Ooh, one of our bloated corpses did catch a Dark Rider off screen, and it'll probably tear her out from the Sirens nearby. Nope, doesn't look like it. It is going to get a rear charge into some handguns for now as the Scourge on Chariots continue to mop about and do some silliness. Do some shenanigans. As the bloated corpses catch another victim, looks like 2 of them died in the woods to take out a Dark Rider, routed one and shattered the other. We still have 1 bloated corpse left. He is trying to run down those Dark Riders. You might want to just give up on that. His life is more valuable than that of an already wounded Dark Rider. Just save yourself for the Witch Elves that are going to be coming in here, buddy. Dark Riders pushed away by the guns, but other ones are going to make it in. Sirens trying to peel them off with the terror, and the bloated corpse needs to not friendly fire his buddies. It looks like he is going to move out to deal with something else. While the Ravagers of Karth and the other Scourge Runners came in, but it looks like the hand cannons dealt them a gruesome blow. Ravagers are already out of here. Other Scourge Runners down to half HP, and Dark Riders getting pushed away. As Bomber Bats plus the Terror are going to take out these Dark Riders. And there goes the bloated corpse looking for some Witch Elves to hunt. I will not miss this one. I've missed every other bloated corpse of this game, but not this one as the Witch Elves go streaking into their death. They don't even know what's waiting for them. There's the explosion, and they're all dead except for 1 Witch Elf again. Just like the last time we cast this, there's 1 Witch Elf who survives, and she shatters. Now the hand cannons are lighting up the other Witch Elves that are on their way in, but there's no way they can deal with them all before they get there, and I think this is about to turn very Dark Elf favored very quickly. The Witch Elves should make mincemeat out of this zombie front line and get onto the back line safe and sound. And we do have 4 Bomber Bats in this guy trying to do some damage. We still have Sirens doing okay. It's just, I don't know how much Luther and the Deeps caster can hold out against Malice, but we'll see. Bomber's more than happy to be firing downhill here. There is a Vangeist. Can the Witch Elves get through the front line fast enough? Otherwise, they'll have to turn around to dodge. Doesn't look like they're turning around, so they're just trying to get through fast enough to get in through here. It will not be fast enough, and they do take a lot of damage from that Vangeist down the line. One of them shatters, one of them routes, one of them holds on, and the Dread Spear in the back. Gonna be okay. Actually, that one didn't route. They managed to rally, which is a little insane. Cold One Knights blobbed up on Sirens, getting some good damage onto them on the charge, but I think the Bomber Bats are trying to get extra damage out while they still can. I think some of these Bombers don't have Fire at Will, which I can appreciate because they don't have a Gunnery Wight to give them more ammunition or anything, but then if you're going to take Fire at Will off, you need to be very on top of giving them orders to shoot. Now they're getting some, they're throwing in, but they're not throwing as fast as they should be. I think they need to be spread out. This line formation thing that's happening right now is a problem for them DPS-wise. Luther is getting massacred by Malice. Even with Hornswoggle out, it's not going to save him. Holy shit, that's actually overpowered. If Luther can silence Malice, I don't know if Malice can transform into Zarkan, but Malice is just going to kill him ahead of time. Yeah. But, like, imagine in a late-game situation where you absolutely need Malice to transform. If he can't because he was silenced, that would be hilarious. Looks like the balance power isn't that bad, though, for the Dark Elves, and Luther is going to die, so it won't matter in the long run. Bomber Bats are just going to try and clean up everything they can. Scourge and Chariot's still firing in the distance. But hand cannons are turning with their dying breaths, firing a couple shots out at the Ravagers of Karth and these other Scourge Runners, trying to kill them off so the Bomber Bats don't have to deal with them in the late game. I don't know what the Coast can do against Malice, though. Luther's gone. Is that a Fog of the Damned? Fog of the Damned is one of the coolest animations of any spell. I love it. It's super awesome. The spell itself is, like, okay. It's not great. It's not bad. I think if the Lore of Deeps was a better lore overall, Fog of the Damned would be a good secondary spell, but you don't want to take a whole lore just for this spell. It's one of the reasons the Lore of the Deep suffers. So what are we looking at here? Dark Elves are pretty much a depleted force, except for a half-health Cold One Knight and a full-health Malice. Other than that, they're pretty whatever. For the Vampire Coast, we still have 4 Bomber Bats who are doing decent damage out here, and we have a very healthy Hero Caster. But Malice can legitimately kill everything left here. The Vampire build is crazy. Yeah, Taphat's pretty insane. Oh hey, he's in chat right now. What up, dude? Spoiler: it's the same Witch Elf. You're right. She lived through the first Bloated Corpse incident, and now she's back. Back again. Shitty's back. Bomber Bats push away the Dark Riders. They're going to take out the Cold One Knight soon. Like, they can kill everything on this army except for Malice, and that is really the only problem. Scourge Runner Chariot's trying to come back, but they get hit with bombs in the face. It only does a couple hundred damage to them, but they're just so injured, it doesn't matter, and they shatter off. Now the Bomber Bats can finish off these Cold One Knights, and they can finish off the Dread Spears, and that's not going to be a problem for them. The problem is this is full health Malice, normal Malice, and then you have Tzarkan to deal with. And what do you have? 4 out-of-ammo Bomber Bats and an almost dead Fleetcaster that Malice is currently kicking the shit out of? I mean, good luck. But the bombs do finish taking out the Cold One Knights. And a Crab summon in the late game, but it gets canceled as she gets knocked over by the Cold One Knights. She can't get the Crab summon out just yet. Now tries again. There are the Rotting Prometheans. Some good armor piercing against Malice and all that stuff. That's fine. It's not... It's going to do decent damage, but all he has to do is transform, and then he'll be fine. As the captain is slowly crumbling, Malice is going after her. They're going to have to wait for the summon to disappear. Then you'll just have 4 bats with no ammo, and they'll get the, you have only flying units debuffs. Then they have to land, and then Malice will kill them, and then we'll all be sad. Vampire Fleet Captain popping everything she has right now, since she is crumbling anyway. Just wants to do what she can. And Malice could rout or terror rout, and that would be a disaster. Does anything here cause terror? No, they don't. Yeah. Whenever I see these spells, I'm thinking of Celestra, and Celestra has terror, so I'm like, I mean, maybe if you jumped in on Malice, you could terror out before you even thought to turn him into Zarkan. Coastcaster is dead. Bomberbat's still chasing down all that stuff. And I will fast forward for the sake of your sanity, while the Rotting Prometheans are going to disappear, and Army losses hits almost instantaneously. GG. And it ended up being a close game for such a silly off-the-wall build. Bloated Corpses, good value, and then pretty meh value, but the one that blew up a Witch Elf had a good time. For Corvus Glaive, it was Malice. It was just Malice shaking his head as his entire army fumbled the ball, and he's like, fine, I'll do it then. Way! Way! Everybody weighs here! It's way. Way, everybody. Way. We had a poll talking about you, Way. Alright? I wasn't gonna do it again, buddy. Way! We waited for you. We waited specifically for you. This replay has been sitting on the shelf for over an hour for you to arrive. It's Johnny Cash versus Attack Speed Enjoyer. With a fucking Plague Claw catapult. Our patience is rewarded. Alright, for Johnny Cash versus Attack Speed Enjoyer, we have Eshin Skaven again, Deathmaster Snitch, Eshin Sorcerer, Victor's Death Squad, 3 other Death Runners, Natty Bubo Sharpshooters up on a hill being stalked and spooky, and then a front line of Clan Rats, 3 Rat Ogres, Ixcha's Triads defending a Plague Claw Catapult. Actually, that's just a Gold Chevron regular Triad. It's not even Ixcha's. On the other side, for the Greenskins of Attack Speed Enjoyer, I believe this is Attack Speed Enjoyer. This is Johnny Cash. Yes, okay. For Attack Speed Enjoyer, we have Orc Boar Chariots, Orc Boar Biggins, a front line of Orc Boys and Goblins. We have an Orc Shaman with Foot of Gork and Brainburster, then Grimgore and a bunch of Goblin Archers. We do also have a Nasty Skulker in the Vanguard. There's another one in the Vanguard right behind Natty Boob with Sharpshooters, so I think the Sharpshooters are about to have a really bad time. As the Eshin Sorcerer keeps throwing out his Ninja Stars, the entire world knows he's here, but they don't necessarily know Victor's Death Squad and Stitch are here yet. The Catapult is luring the Greenskins into the trap as the Death Runners are here, but the... Boarboy Bacons get a beautiful charge on the Death Runners. This is one of the biggest problems with vanguarding the Eshin units, is they're all so low mass and don't have great charge defense or anything like that. They can just get run down by any cavalry. Nasty Skulkers are hunting down Daddy Boobos as they run around. They're frantically trying to find a way to get somewhere safe. As the Plague Claw Catapults are still trying to rout off the Goblin Archers. Victor's Death Squads are here as well, creeping up on these little Goblin Archers. And there we go. They get attack orders onto these Goblins. Some of them kind of wander into the fight, but they'll get there eventually. And Grimgore is now the target of Deathmaster Snitch. Brainburster does a little bit of damage to Victor's Death Squad, and Snitch is actually going to opt out. Nope, he's back in. We're fine. We're good. He's going after Grimgore. I actually don't know who wins this duel. I'm guessing it's Grimgore, but Snitch has been impressing us today. Oop, okay, that's not looking good. It's not a good start. Okay, Grimgore is beating his ass. Sneaky Snitch, you might want to leave. As for the rest of the build, the Plague Claw Catapult is still online as the Skaven valiantly defended against the Orc Boys who are creeping up on them. Grimgore is whooping the shit out of my boy. Oh my god. Like, I mean, Snitch is getting some hits in, but it ain't looking good as Wah is out for Grimgore. Snitch is trying to run away. In the distance, Death Runners are fighting Nasty Skulkers and Orc Boar Biggins. I don't see the Natty Boober Sharpshooters, so for all I know, they are dead. As the Plague Claw Catapult keeps trying to bail out the situation, the Eshin Sorcerer is lining up some sort of Ninja Stars, goes through the blob, and it's fine. Snitch is going to World Weeping Blades his way out of here, and he is doing a lot of damage. That's a lot of leadership debuffs. His Cloak of Shadows, plus the Plague Claw Catapult firing in. That's a lot of leadership debuffs. These guys might rout any second now. But the Greenskins have gotten to the Plague Claw Catapult. It cannot keep carrying this game as much as it's trying to. The Eshin Triads and Clan Rat Spears holding down the front line pretty well. So far, the Greenskins haven't been able to break through the front. It's the sides that were really the problem. And Grimgore, again, finds his way onto Snitch, who is definitely just trying to get out of here. Dodges under Gitsnick and runs for his little ratty life. Concealment Bomb's trying to make him unspottable, though he gets stuck on a Boar Boy. And Grimgore's coming in. He stands up, he gets his shit together, and he runs! And he runs! Go, Snitch, go! So fast. Death Runners from the flanks abandon their fight with York Boar Biggins and the Nasty Skulkers to try and get back into the main the main swing of things. But bounce power is real bad for this Skaven. Ashen Triads with their triple gold chevrons trying to fight the Orc Shaman. They're getting decent damage done onto him, but they're getting shot by Goblin Archers in a concave of fire. That's brutal. Or as Human Boy of the past would say, a conclave of fire. And then everybody yells at me. It's the Viper versus the Mountain again. Yeah. Stuck in Greenskins spears, don't care. Look how he massacred people. They tried. The second and final Wa is out. Usually Greenskins don't get more than 2 Was in a game, unless it's a particularly long game and they took an awful lot of goblins. They usually won't get a third Wa charged up. Snitch tried to get a little bit of hit and run action going, but army losses is going to take him any second now, and he'll have to slink back to Night Lord Sneak without much to show for it. There you go, Wei. Now, like, Wei is just stuck being this character now on my stream, where he's like, dude, I don't even like the Plague Catapult. I brought it up a couple times as a funny haha meme joke, and now it's like the only thing you know about me. And yes, it is the only thing I know about you, but I'm going to leverage it. I'm going to leverage the shit out of it. Mr. Wei. No close-up shot? It's probably true. Last game for the day, and then I am gonna be done here. Yes. Johnny Cash and Hayseed. Hayseed quickly becoming a crowd favorite with his insistence on using either Kolek or Scarbrand. Johnny Cash on the other side. Also, a memer dreamer. Taking Malekith in the year 2020. Bold. For Mr. Cash, we have triple Dark Shards, the Blades of the Blood Queen, Harganeth Executioners, triple Witch Elf, 2 Dread Spears, Malekith on his dragon with Word of Pain and Soul Stealer. And we do have the Siren of Red Ruin and a couple Dark Riders. For Khorne, we have Chaos Warhounds of Khorne all around the battlefield. Looks like 4 of them total. Frontliner Marauders of Khorne dual weapons. We have some Minotaurs, Scarbrand, and more Minotaurs with 1 Exalted Bloodletter just for a bit of Cleaven. And the Exalted Bloodletters want to find the Blades of the Blood Queen. They really need to go find those guys and mess them up. Something fierce. Dark Riders should beat Chaos Warhounds. Chaos Warhounds have really good stats, but they are dogs versus Dark Riders. So if Dark Riders get the charge on them, their Supreme Mass gives them enough impact damage that they'll usually knock the Frenzy off of the dogs, reducing their stats by a lot, and then being able to beat them. So that is one way Cavalry does well versus dogs, is remember to charge. Remember to charge. Dark Elves and Malekith seem to know that they need to deal with these Bloodletters, as the Siren Red Ruin plus Malekith's gaze are focused on them. Dark Shard's trying to kill off one of the Minotaurs, but Scarbrand is in. Scarbrand might just pop his Rampage to stop the Dark Shards from shooting on his advance. They are starting to pull away now. We'll see if his Rampage stops them. Meanwhile, Dark Riders are keeping these dogs honest. The Siren Red Ruin continuing to fire, and already Exalted Bloodletters are down to like 1/4 HP, and they've barely gotten to play the game. Blades the Blood Queen walk up to push off Marauders, and Dark Shards are trying to reform lines somewhere else. Witch Elves need to be popping their Rampage buffs before they get too low. Like this one ran away with their Witch Brew still in their pockets. So you do got to pop that buff pretty much in the first engagement you get your Witch Elves into. You just need to pop it real quick. KV at least knows your name. KV, I don't know your name. I don't care about you. I don't care nothing about you, you forest camping YouTube person. Anyway. Minotaurs of Khorne still getting shot at by the Dark Shards, but 2 of the Dark Shards are out of commission. The third one is firing away for now. Meanwhile, the Siren Red Ruin is still getting good shots out. The Blades of the Blood Queen are going to be uncontested in the infantry game as that beautiful Siren shot takes out their only real competition. The Exalted Bloodletter is going to fade away any second, then the Blades of the Blood Queen can kill off all of the infantry left on this map, if left to their own devices. If they get charged by Minotaurs or Scarbrand, they'll have a bad time, but infantry versus infantry, the Blades of the Blood Queen should be unstoppable at this point. More Chaos Warhounds pushed away as Minotaurs are starting to rejoin the fight. Balance power is about 50-50, maybe slightly Dark Elf favored, though I think that is going to be suspect when these Dark Shards get routed off. And Malekith is also very expensive up in this guy, and he currently hasn't had a lot of impact on the game just yet. He is going to have to find somewhere to be somehow to impact the game. Was in trouble. Speaking of in trouble, this lady. Scarbrand is hunting her down while she is surrounded by Minotaurs. It is not a good time to be the poor little Siren Red Ruin. And she gets axed right in the face. Rampaged immediately after? No, it's the Whale of Malice. Okay, so she's wailing at them. Minotaurs don't care much, though. Scarbrand's actually just going to self-rampage. Since she's the only target nearby, he's not worried about getting distracted. He has 50% more damage as he is trying to swing at her, but there's angry cows in the way. Manages to miss his first swing in that, which is kind of impressive. How did you miss? But okay. Dark Elves actually take an increasing lead on the balance of power as more and more of the Khorne front line is pushed off. You can see a lot of them are routing. Really no one is left to support Scarbrand besides other Minotaurs, who are now getting attack orders onto Malekith. Realizing that Malekith is causing problems for them on this side, they just want to push him away, get him back into the sky where he is not nearly as useful, and save these Minos, but they aren't going to quite save him yet. And then they rout. And as we've discussed earlier, it looks like Dark Elves should be able to walk that Mino off as these Dark Shards are even going to set up and start firing in as the Siren Red Ruin also does the same. Can these Chaos Warhounds of Khorne keep the Minotaurs that are retreating safe from the Dark Riders? If yes, then Khorne could be okay. If no, I think if all the Minotaurs are just routed off this map, then yeah, Scarbrand can't like solo carry this with a couple dogs. It's not how it's gonna go, my friend. Minos pushed off, Scarbrand's jumping in. Something is happening to him though. Word of Pain reducing his melee stats, causing a big old rampage as he runs around though. Looks like he's trying to hunt down Malekith, who does it last turn and fight. Even with Word of Pain, Scarbrand has plenty of stats, and he is going to throw down a Sword of Khorne right on top of the Blades of the Blood Queen as they are rampaged helplessly into it. That was a beautiful Sword of Khorne, because hitting a rampaged blob is pretty easy as far as mechanics go, but I mean, that was pretty good timing and prediction for where the Blades of the Blood Queen would end up mid-rampage block. So that was good. We like that. Soul Stealer's out, healing up Malekith, wounding Scarbrand even further, but Scarbrand is going to pop his buffs. Word of Pain is still active for 5 more seconds as his rampage is going, but he's surrounded by the Blades of the Blood Queen. Malekith is beating his ass. Yeah, and Scarbrand's going to go down here. Mino's going to take care of the Siren Red Ruin, but it's not nearly enough to bail this game out as Scarbrand goes down. Negative leadership. He is demonic stability crumbling slowly but surely. And army losses takes Khorne. Malekith and the boys of the Cashinator. Big dub. Someone's asking me a question. 1 second. Your videos. Why do I have 2 messages? Okay. 3 days. Okay, that question is answered. That is it for me today. Now, before you leave, I was going to raid our good friend Tactical Lich, who's also streaming at the same time. He's been streaming a little faction war type event. We love Tactical Lich. So here's what I ask. Here's what I ask of you. If you don't want to go, fine. That's fine. I would ask that you join the raid, join his stream for like, give him 5 minutes. If you don't like his casting style, if you don't think you want to listen to that, that's fine. Don't subscribe and leave, but like give it a shot because he's a good lad and he's been doing this. He's actually been a content creator longer than I have, and he has less subs, which is a crime. So like I'd encourage you to give him a shot, even if you don't want to watch another stream right now. Just give him like 5 minutes. Treat it as like a trailer. Tactical Lich, right? All right, let's go find his stream because he's still streaming, right? I literally just saw him. Mr. Lich. Edit, customize, redirect. Mr. Lich. Okay, I'm going to sign off now. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.